Welcome to part 2 of Nuclear Dragon. If you encounter any issues or have feedback, please let me know in the comments rather than just disliking the video. Your input helps me improve, and I'm here to make sure you have the best experience possible. Enjoy the content.
Chapter 276, Latest Website. She opened her eyes angrily and met Shillong's eyes again. Then the angry expression froze for an instant, then rolled his eyes and almost fainted. But fortunately, Shillong's heart firmly brushed past in time. Only then did Jasmine barely faint. You. Jasmine pointed at Shillong, speaking uncomfortably. Tell me, do you know the problem of attributes? Shillong asked again. Of course I know. She replied instinctively, and then seemed to want to continue. But Hank on one side yelled, Jasmine, what are you doing? Didn't you see what was on his head? This is a life hated by the gods. Ah? Jasmine was awakened and shivered for a moment. She looked at the top of Silem's head in horror and stopped speaking. So again? What did they see? Don't you both want to say? If you don't say it, you're dead. Take it with you, in the room on your right. Only your 13 or 4-year-old daughter. She is very cute, with a pair of beautiful golden ponytails. I also like to hold a little bear. And the son in the left room, 18 years old, right? He is also very handsome. I guess he must be very popular with women in town. Silem grinned and laughed silently. No, don't, this way. Jasmine begged. Then tell me what you know, everything. We can't say that the gods are already paying attention to us. If we say, the soul will fall into and be burned by the fire of forever. Hank pleaded. The gods are watching? Shillong savored the words carefully. Then he looked up. His pupils had shrunk into a needle eye. His eyes pierced through the thick wooden plank, through the tens of kilometers of void and atmosphere. Keep looking at the outer layer. Unlike the starry sky in my memory, although the moon, the sun, and some stars can be seen at ordinary times, Shillong knew clearly that they were all fake. It's an illusion. Everything there is nothing but nothing. Is it isolated? Is the god watching me there? In a special space composed of light, Milbo, known as the omniscient and almighty god, stood above the void, silently looking at the virtual screen in front of him. There was a scene of Shillong looking up. The straight-up dragon head and the gaze that seemed to be able to see everything made Milbo's heart tighten. This guy, did you find me? Milbo looked gloomy. If it hadn't been for a whim just now, and suddenly wanted to see what the intruder wanted to do, he would really have to ask him why. This is bad. This intruder does not seem to be too peaceful. Do you want to kill him directly? It seems to be a little difficult, and now I have only 80 odds against him, which is not safe. Just wait. As long as 3 years later, I can advance again, and then I can easily kill the intruder. That's right. I need time. It only took me 5 years to go from being a mortal to being a strong man today. In just another 3 years, I can advance to level 12. Then slowly advance until you become a true omniscience and omnipotence. Become a true god. I need time. Looking at Hank, who had been begging for the invader Shillong, Milbo frowned somewhat unhappy. Too humble. With such a humble attitude, begging for an intruder? Damn it. Milbo's heart moved. Always in his hands, a small luminous sphere shone brightly. On the virtual screen, Hank roared in extreme pain, and then stubbornly covered his head with his hands, but it was useless. His head suddenly became swollen, and finally burst directly. The red and white things sputtered, and Jasmine around him fainted with a splash of splash. When those red and white things splashed toward Shillong, they were all stopped by a circle of transparent light waves. It's much more comfortable now, Domer murmured. A group of puppets dare to leak news to the humble invaders. Death is not a pity. Is this dead? Shillong glanced at Hank's body, somewhat silent. Hank said nothing, but he died. The so-called is really watching, and he is definitely not a good kind. Perhaps this is also related to his being an alien invader? But why doesn't this so-called destroy Hank directly? I can't think of it. After all, he is not a creature in this world. But why doesn't he send other creatures, or come out to compete with him in person? Are there any restrictions? We're not sure. Was Hank's death a warning, or something else? Shillong thought a lot, and finally decided to wait and see for a few days to see the situation. In the next few days, Shillong would act at various times from time to time every day. In the morning, he would arrest some passing travelers and ask questions, or enter the house at night to ask questions. But they were like Hank, and they would not answer Shillong's any problem. They are luckier than Hank, at least not dead. For this reason, Shillong can be absolutely sure that he can no longer get any news from the NPC. But he immediately came up with some new tricks and found a forest with many monsters in it. Shillong selected hundreds of them to radiate them. In another dimension, Milbo had been paying attention to Shillong, and he couldn't understand what Shillong was doing now. What does it mean to illuminate these monsters with white light from the body? Until these monsters appeared various abnormal symptoms. For phenomena such as hair loss, weakness, and crossflow of excrement and urine, He opened the attribute panel of these monsters and observed carefully. Then he discovered that the state of these monsters had changed. It should have been attributes of health, weakness, and hunger, but there was an extra line of magic attributes. What is this? Wisdom brain, tell me, what's going on with this demonization? Milbo asked, looking at the glowing sphere in his hand. Unknown reaction. Please wait patiently for analysis. A phenomenon that has never happened before? Milbo muttered to himself and observed it quietly. A few days later, a wild boar-shaped monster had long lost its hair and its body shape changed a lot. Several other legs grew from its lower abdomen and red marks grew on its body. There are unidentified bumps on the surface of the body. Something seemed to be squirming under the epidermis, and then another day later, the pig turned into a pool of blood under his nose. What's the situation? This is demonization? Milpole stunned. He was pretty sure that this wild boar was completely dead, and he needed to spend some faith points to resurrect. Insufficient data. Cannot answer. Time is still in the past. During this period, these monsters died one after another. The original 200 or 300 monsters died one after another. The forest with Shillong as the center was stained with a strange blood color and horror. No other monster dared to approach it. Just when Milbo wondered if he was too cautious about this strange little dragon. Those monsters did not die anymore. They have completed this mutation. A fierce rabbit that originally belonged to Tier 1, in addition to its speed and ferocious character, was as short as a normal rabbit. It was 30 centimeters high from the very beginning, and it has now become 80 inside, which is close to half a person's height. The original red eyes were dyed with a strange purple. Its lower limbs have become stronger and stronger, its forelimbs have become more slender, and the sharp digits at the front end have broken through the shackles of flesh and skin, revealing sharp bone spikes. Every time it gasps, a gust of air will be ejected from its 2 huge nostrils, and the grass underneath it will be hunted and hunted. Meet Herbwa quickly opened the properties panel. I discovered that this Tier 1 rabbit has actually become a Tier 3 creature. The name has also changed to Demonized Fierce Rabbit, from an ordinary creature to a second level 2 skeleton level boss creature. The strength, agility, and life attributes have greatly increased, much stronger than ordinary fighters. Also marked below, Shillong Soderbergh's family members. This is demonization? Very interesting. But the lives of all creatures in this world are under my control. What's the point of demonizing them? I can deprive them of their lives at the first thought. Part 2. Milbo finished speaking and let out a chuckle. His hand gently stroked the shining sphere in his hand and sent the demonized fierce rabbit to the lower bound to explode. But a few seconds later, the expected distortion explosion did not happen. This made Milbo's complexion drastically changed. This is a situation he has never seen before in his control of the sphere for 5 years. The creation of life that can determine life and death with a single thought. Why can we get rid of the obliteration of the creator? This made him a little alarmed. Wisdom. What the is going on? Why does the obliteration fail? Drip? Demonized fierce rabbit. S body already has the energy of the intruder. It is no longer a mere creature created by Dora's tomb and cannot be erased. Damn it. This way. Doesn't this demonized creature have nothing to do with me? This is a betrayal. They are creatures. Betrayed the creator. Damn it. Milbo was a little angry. He issued a series of blue orders to other demonized creatures that were still mutating, but they didn't work at all. Reverse. Really reverse. This invading creature. Sure enough, it will cause trouble to my path to becoming a god. I will kill him. D. Are you sure to enter the nether to kill foreign creatures? After 11 days of additional observation, you fought the opponent with a winning rate of 79.69844%. Damn, why is my winning rate lowered again? How could this alien creature be so strong? Milbo took a hard breath and yelled. D. According to the system feedback, all the data collected today is not enough to prove that this is all the opponent's ability. The true winning rate, you may be even lower. Will you enter the lower realm to eliminate foreign creatures? The intellectual life being a luminous sphere, asked again. Milbo was silent for a while before saying, No hurry. I have time. As long as you give me 3 years, I will be level 12. 12 is not enough. Give me another 10 years, and I will be level 13. 20 years will be level 14. I have unlimited potential. Now is not the time. For safety reasons, I have to achieve a 99.9999% winning rate to destroy this intruder in the lower realm. The real wise man. Never let yourself fall into an unknown crisis. Milbo tried to calm himself down. He looked at these monsters, and their strengths were improved. From the original 1 to 4 ranks to 2 to 6 ranks, the strength span is very large. Just when he was about to see what the other party wanted to do next, the other party once again released a white light that could demonize monsters. Then, under the gaze of Milbo, these monsters, after more than 20 died again, were only in their early 100s, and they advance to the so-called second stage demonized creatures. Strength once again increases 1 to 2 ranks. Milbo was completely shocked. A group of wastes that were originally tier 1 to 4 turned into abnormal creatures of tier 3 to 7. The strongest of them has reached the boss level of 4 skeleton level. The 7th and 4th skeleton boss is not even willing to make it. Each end requires 200 to 300 points of faith, and the previous highest level 4 and 1 skeleton level only needed 10 points, and the strength was even different. And what price did the alien creatures pay to make these creatures so advanced? But before he was shocked, the intruder began to emit white light temporarily again. Damn it, are you still here? Milbo's head is big. Can this one really make the monster stronger? As a result, he moved in a direction he didn't want to look at. The monster's body changed again. After more than 10 days, after losing half of the monsters, these monsters have changed tremendously. Has become a monster of ranks 4 to 8. The highest level is 8 skeleton level 8. Then, the intruder on the screen finally stopped temporarily putting white light. Instead, he spit out more than 50 drops of red golden liquid and stuffed it into the monsters' mouths. And then the remaining monsters entered the previous situation again. They have started to evolve again. How is it possible? Milbo almost stared out of his eyes. Why could this invader allow the monster to evolve? Where is his evolutionary limit? Quick, Jinao, bring me the data that he fed the monsters just now. Milbo shouted. Unknown substance, is an item suspected of being refined from perseverance. It possesses super firepower, high toxicity, and the ability to push creatures to the limit. Wuxia World, online damn guy. This time advancement doesn't the original waste have to be close to tier 9 or even reach it? 9th level and 9 skeleton level, creating a belief of more than 4,000. Even if he has 100 million, he will feel distressed. The reason why tier 9 is so expensive is entirely because of his super strong combat power. The combat power of tier 8 and tier 7 is extremely different. This should be his limit, right? Wisdom? It is absolutely impossible for him to create a level 10, right? Milbo asked nervously. Not enough information to answer. He can't do it? Absolutely. Only I can create a tier 10 powerhouse out of thin air. This is the power of a creator like me, Milbo muttered, his eyes fixed on what Shillong did. 4. And at the same time that Shillong made radiation creatures. Chapter 277, latest website. After more than 20 days, Brother House spent nearly 100 million Union coins and finally built the weapon he wanted. Duan Tianhao's Sunstaff Staff, class, Legend Magic plus 1025 Constitution plus 50 Special Effect. Jiyang. When using fire spells, all fire powers are plus 50%. Flame Affinity. Use fire spells, cast spells 50% faster. In addition, the staff also comes with several advanced fire skills. Compared to the previous epic staff, its magic power alone is twice as high. Attacks using fire spells have at least strengthened by more than half. As for why the name of the staff is so strange, it is because of Brother Hao's full name, Duan Tianhao. The current Hao brother is completely called the number 1 mage. Soldiers who encounter tier 6 have almost a set of skills to take away. The weapon is even the top of the coquettish high-hanging weapon list. The legend lasts forever. One stick will circulate forever. The legendary staff is awesome. A group of friends sent messages asking how Hao got it, but how could Hao say? He often soaks in the arena recently, raging in it with his gods. Has reached the first place in the arena. All the masters have basically been educated by Brother Hao, and at the same time they feel the power of the legendary staff. And Brother Hao also biased his main skills towards fire spells. This result causes players of the same class to play against each other. Fighting fighters originally needed to fly a kite, and 3 sets of skills could be taken away, and 1 to 2 sets of skills could be taken away directly. Fighting against the wizard, Brother Hao started, and tier 4 fire spells were basically instant. Even more unable to fight. When everyone admired Brother Hao. Naturally, there are more local tyrants who want to figure out how Brother Hao's weapons come from. Some local tyrants offered a huge reward. Then some people in Ogei's team couldn't help selling Hao Guo. This involves a vital role. Shillong Soderberg. It was he who gave out 12 drops of legendary treasures that gave him the main material for making the staff. Only then has the current scenery of Brother Hao. It was a little dragon, with a height of no more than 3 meters and a body length of no more than 7 meters. For this reason, the entire Dora Tomb game world has entered a semi-crazy state. The Daily Post is looking for Shillong Soderberg, and not waiting for them to find Shillong. The 4th stage of Shillong's radiation monster is finally completed. These monsters have at least the strength of level 7. The strongest has reached level 10 and 8 skeleton level. More than one. There are 2 heads, 1 Tiger King. The shoulder height swelled to about 10 meters. Not too high, but what is terrifying is its strength and defensive capabilities. The tiger's fur is like metal. The hardness of the bones is much higher than that of ordinary steel, with 2 long horns on the head. The sharp saber teeth are exposed. The back is covered with sharp iron bars. Another canine monster. The whole body is no longer a flesh and blood body, but a fiery dog composed entirely of magma-like substances. Between breathing and breathing, the temperature in the surrounding space rose, and some large trees ignited spontaneously without fire. His shoulder height is not worse than the devil tiger. The two-tier tin bosses took shape under Milbo's shocking eyes. But it is a little consoling. After these two monsters completed their evolution, they attacked Shillong for the first time. The iron demon tiger roared. The huge sound wave made the trees in front of him sway, and a tiger leap rushed towards Shillong. The flame dog spewed out a pillar of lava fire in a bark. Just when Milbo thought he could see a good show, Shillong's body swelled rapidly. It reached 15 meters high in an instant. He raised his head and lightly glanced at the leaping steel demon tiger, protruding a dragon's claw like lightning, and pinched it on the devil tiger's throat, and then slammed into the ground. Boom! In a huge roar, the devil tiger's head was completely poured into the earth. Within a kilometer of a kilometer, a major earthquake has occurred. The ground cracked and blocks of soil were squeezed out of the ground. Many big trees lost their roots and fell to the ground. The lava fire column of the elemental dog sprayed directly on Shillong's body. Except for a series of splashes of magma, it has no effect. Xylem glanced at the flame dog indifferently. Very good. You two already have legendary power. But in front of me, it is still too weak. But it is enough to deal with the mortals in the city ahead. As he spoke, the stream of golden particles in his eyes suddenly jumped. The space around the flame dog suddenly changed color. Bump! The earth dented several meters in an instant. A huge force of gravity suddenly descended. The flame dog wailed, and his body was suppressed on the ground. A large number of flame elements were blown out, splashing on the trees on one side, and the fire ignited. Seeing Xylem easily cleaned up 2 10th Order 8 skeleton bosses, Milbo was shocked. Let the wisdom brain analyze the intensity quickly, and the intensity given by the wisdom brain has completely reached the 12th level. Milbo was shocked now. Fortunately, I am cautious. Otherwise, go and trouble the monster. Instead of sending food directly, hemp egg. It seems that I have to wait until the 13th level to clean up this intruder. That's right. As the most promising god, I need a little time. The strength of the 12th stage is already in the category of demigods, and Xylem catches 2 10th tier players with a beating. 2 tier 10 monsters roared and shook the sky. Except for the creatures demonized by Shillong, there is no other existence at all. Ordinary creatures felt the breath of Shillong 10 days ago, and they all finished running. Some of these demonized creatures joined the siege of Shillong after being affected, but they were all easily cleaned up by Shillong. Some wanted to escape, but found that no matter how much they moved their legs, they couldn't take a step forward. Still going back. Until he retreated to Shillong, he was beaten up. Shillong's current body height was only 15 meters tall, but his weight is heavier than before. His body density is increasing every time he grows. Even if it is only 15 meters tall, the weight is definitely about 100,000 tons. As for the full display of the body, it may be more than 1 million tons. In the next few days, he didn't do anything, just beat these demonized creatures brutally. Until one day, as before, he blasted the 2 legendary creatures and pressed them under him. Looking directly into the eyes of the 2 monsters, the eyes should have been full of tyrannical eyes, but at this time they were all shocked and pleading. Like a pair of poor stray cats and dogs who have not eaten a day, their eyes are full of prayers. They are scared of being beaten. In the face of Shillong, who is far superior to their own strength, they are no different from ordinary cats and dogs. Dare to resist, the only ones who greet them are beaten. They would just make a pitiful sob when they were under their bodies. The tyrannical mind seems to have been unlocked, and the intelligence has been greatly improved. Shillong looked at them, grinning slightly. His whole body stood up. One paw carried the head of a legendary monster, holding them in the air. Let their eyes look straight ahead. There is a huge human city 7 or 80 kilometers away. Run. Keep running. If you don't want to die, kill all the humans along the way. Shillong's words were like magical sounds that filled the brain, constantly ringing in the ears of the 2 monsters. Woo barking. The flame dog wrinkled his nose and stared hard at the front. It has good eyesight and can clearly see 4 or 5 kilometers ahead, where there is a team of 5. Human adventure group. They talked and laughed and walked towards the forest. Part 2. The same goes for the iron demon tiger, making a deep roar. Go. Destroy everything. Shillong said again. Then the claws were released, allowing the 2 monsters to fall to the ground. Roar. Wong. The 2 monsters broke free of Shillong's and let out a roar, and then they began to rush towards the 5-person adventure team. As for the 30-odd other monsters left beside Shillong, these guys had been scared by Shillong before, and now they all behave like dogs that have been trained for many years. With just a look, These guys followed behind the two rank 10 monsters and ran wildly. Shillong is ready to let these monsters test and slaughter, to create chaos. Test whether the city ahead is as he saw it, there is no legend, or there are other powers hidden. And on the human side, whether the black hand behind the scenes can send a stronger force. How strong is this power? These are all necessary to understand. He raised his head and stared at the sky silently. Shillong is indifferent at this time. The other world, like a human being like an NPC, makes it difficult for him to have too much sympathy and compassion. Are these things really human? Inside the mysterious space, Milbo looked at Shillong's arrogant appearance at this time, and the monsters roaring towards the nearest human capital, Blizzard City, gritted their teeth. Damn invaders, sure enough. I won't let me develop so peacefully, with 2/10 and more than 30 creatures from 7th to 9th. This kind of combat power can easily destroy everything in Blizzard City. Only Tier 9 is the strongest in Blizzard City. Counting the 50,000 guards, it is not enough to deal with these monsters. But don't underestimate me for that. The power of God is not only pure brute force. The whole world is my stage. You, an intruder, simply cannot understand the greatness of God. Milbo sneered in his heart. The monster roared loudly. The Iron Demon Tiger took the lead. Every time you move your limbs, the ground will crack. The Fire Elemental Dog followed him, leaving behind a series of sparks on the scorched earth for a long time. Numerous monsters followed behind. Their gazes were as if they were magical, and they were staring straight ahead. At this time, the 5-person adventure team was only 2 kilometers away from them. And this adventure team obviously also found monsters such as the Iron Demon Tiger. After all, so big and so many monsters, there are no things obstructing the vision from the forest, and they can naturally be seen at a glance. One of the beautiful-looking female priests was a little surprised. Are these wild monsters coming for us? It feels so big. Can we win? She is a greenhouse player and rarely goes out of the city to fight. She spends most of the day studying magic books in the city and enjoy life in another world. Will this be out of the city or his companion begging? And I also want to try to read the spell book for many years, my current strength. Whether it's directed at us or not, just kill it. Don't worry. I am a powerful fighter of Tier 6. A warrior in armor looked at the monsters rushing and was a little frightened. According to past experience, a monster of this size is definitely not a good guy to deal with. It is estimated that it will be completely destroyed here. But he really didn't want to show weakness in front of his beloved girl. What stupid thing are you talking about? A mage on the side didn't have so much scruples. He said coldly, I just used the squeeze-out spell. The demonized steel swordblade tiger in front is a 10th order boss. What are you doing? I won't play with you anymore. With that, the mage fled to the left. 10th order? The sister priest was surprised. Although she hadn't fought much, she knew that this was far from what she could match. After all, her strength was only Tier 4. However, she didn't run away immediately, but used her proficient detection technique. Enchanted Steel Blade Tiger, rank, 10th rank, 8 skeletons threat, extremely deadly, life, power. After a series of greetings, the priest girl looked dizzy. Let's run. As soon as she finished speaking, she found that besides the warrior who had spoken before, everyone else had run with the wizard. The soldier was standing in front of her at this time, his expression a little nervous, and the demon tiger of Tier 10 had already ran in front of them, less than 100 meters. Until this time, the 10-meter shoulder height and the nearly 20-meter body length were completely exposed to the sister priest. This is an unspeakable shock. Roar. The demon tiger roared wildly, really like a bolt from the blue. The thunder blasted in the ears, and the sister priest just felt her head dizzy. When he reacted, he found that the soldier eldest in front of him had been slapped with the palm of the close demon tiger. Bump. Under a loud noise, the eldest soldier held a shield in both hands and was shot flying away instantly. A big injury number lit up above his head. Minus 22,549. Recovery. According to what I learned in the book, I should use recovery now. The sister priest, trembling, instinctively wanted to perform a recovery according to the book. Suddenly, he discovered that the soldier's eldest brother turned into a white light and disappeared in the process of flying. Is this dead? She was taken aback for a moment. How did she feel different from the script? Shouldn't the soldiers bravely resist in front Wuxia-World.online, and then I treat them behind? She was a little stunned, and then, the wind whizzed towards her cheek. Holyulu, the skins on both sides of her were shaking constantly, her eyes closed instinctively. Bump. The priest's sister felt a strong hit on her, and then her head dizzy. When he opened his eyes again, he was already in the Temple of Resurrection in Stormwind. The holy temple is white and flawless, and an NPC priest in a robes walks back and forth. His mouth was filled with the great and glorious deeds of the omniscient God. Chapter 278. The priest girl didn't wait to continue reading. She felt her head dizzy, and she hurriedly supported the wooden handle next to her. This is a resurrection venue specially prepared for players such as Destiny. Naturally, various situations will be considered. A voice came from the priest's ear, Xiaoxue. We were all killed by the boss. Go offline and rest. Being late is bad for your health. The priest's sister Xiaoxue turned her head and glanced, and it was the soldier who had stood in front of her. So this is the death in the game? It's so uncomfortable. I will go offline and rest immediately, and brother, you will also go to rest. After Xiaoxue finished speaking, she thought about going offline. But the next moment, the previous team, the wizard who took the lead to escape, also appeared beside them. Brother Yuan, didn't you run away? Why? The priest girl was a little surprised, clutching her head. Mage Yuan brother also clutched his head. A ghost can only run away. That's a tier 10 boss, and everyone else died together, and none of them escaped. Master Yuan replied, and the figure quickly disappeared, and he was already offline. Xiaoxue and Yi Gu turned to look at other resurrection points. There are many resurrection points in the temple, and each resurrection point can only resurrect about 5 at a time, and there is a circle of wooden fences around it. Just a glance, Xiaoxue and Yi Gu saw the other two resurrecting at a resurrection point on the left. They were just resurrected and lacked interest in everything, so they went offline and disappeared. Seeing this, Xiaoxue and Yi Gu didn't say anything, and quickly went offline to rest. Except for Xiaoxue and others, the demonized creatures rushed all the way. Naturally, they also encountered other humans, players, or NPCs, but without exception, all were attacked by the demonized creatures, and none of them survived. As soon as the players saw these monsters with astonishing momentum, they turned on the detection and they were shocked immediately and wanted to run. But how can this be able to pass the lowest level 7 demonized creatures? The tier 10 monster like Iron Devil Tiger crossed hundreds of meters in just a few jumps and trampled a human player to death. More playful, the flame dog spit out fire and cannonballs from a distance. As long as it hits, it basically kills the player in seconds, killing all the way. The monsters are getting closer to Blizzard City, killing hundreds of players and NPCs in the middle. No team can hold on for more than 10 seconds. Players who were wandering around the city suddenly received a system announcement. Special events, Blizzard City's demonic monster siege activity will start. This mission is a special regional mission. All players in the region can participate. In the cities of Nandu, Starfall, Lingyun, Tornado, and other cities near Blizzard City in the coordinates XXXX area, players can go to participate through the portal temporarily opened by the all-knowing Almighty God. At that time, players can unite with the guards and fight against demonized monsters. Kill the demonized Steel Demon Tiger, demonized Flame Dog, and other demonized monsters. As long as you participate, after the event is over, the great all-knowing Almighty God will reward equipment and skill books of varying grades based on the contributions of all players. Among them, the most outstanding players can get legendary equipment and tier 8 skill books. Interested players, please go to the west gate of Blizzard City to participate in the activity within 5 minutes. Countdown 5 minutes. The duration of the activity is variable. Announcement. 3 times in a row, the players in Blizzard City and surrounding cities boiled over. Still walking on the street, someone shouted, "The monster is attacking the city, or Blizzard City. My God, this event is really rare in 1,000 years. Before, all were villages of XX. Those offensive bosses are also weak to death, meaningless at all. I hope they will be a little bit passionate this time." Damn! Legendary equipment, level 8 skill book. You can get a chance to participate? This is really cool. Are you a fool? Legendary equipment is something you can think of as a rookie? It would be nice to get a sophisticated one, someone cried. The Finches know their ambitions. Scum. It's less than 5 minutes. What are you trying to force? Hurry up. Otherwise, you won't be in a hurry. The players yelled, full of passion one by one. To be honest, the game of Doris Tomb World has very few regional activities like this. Most players either enter the secret realm like a dungeon to explore, or increase their strength in the city. For this rare event, the players are very enthusiastic. They rushed to the west gate on the street. On the way, they also saw the original guards of the city, all wearing armor, or riding horses in the streets, or rushing to the west gate on foot. The whole city is very dynamic. In the Aogu team, Aogu, Haogu, Shaoli, Hogu, Momo, and other people happen to be eating and drinking in a restaurant near the west gate. I have to say here that the food in the world of Doris Tomb is very realistic, and the food and drink are as real as reality. So many players regard the world of Doris Tomb as the second world. Upon receiving the news, Oge and the others looked at each other, rushed out of the restaurant, summoned a high-level warhorse, and quickly rushed towards the west gate. And Brother Hao summoned a Pegasus, took Shaoli and quickly flew into the sky. Brother Hao and Shaoli's Tianma are also high-end goods, much faster than the average speed, and belong to the first batch of players to reach the wall. At this time, hundreds of warriors, mages, priests, and hunters in gorgeous equipment were standing on the wall. The leader was a warrior wearing a platinum armor. He looked 40 or 50 years old with a bit of vicissitudes. In spite of this, there is still an unusual charm, and he knows that he was a beautiful man when he was young. Beside him is an elderly mage wearing a platinum robe. Looking at these two people, Brother Hao felt very familiar, and Xiaoli on one side directly exclaimed, "That is the Emperor of the Empire and the Sage. I have seen their pictures on the forum." "What's the matter? Isn't the War Emperor always in the Imperial capital? Why did you come here to participate in the defense war? 2 Tier 10 powerhouses are coming to participate in this mission? How strong is the siege monster?" Brother Hao couldn't help being surprised. The two of them couldn't help looking into the distance. A steel demon tiger full of metal texture took the lead, rushing towards the city gate with amazing power. Brother Hao hurried over with a high-level exploration technique. Made. 10th level and 8 skeleton level boss. It's no wonder that both the Emperor and the Sage are here. I feel like we are going to be cannon fodder. Brother Hao was surprised. Brother Hao is the best. How could it be cannon fodder? Xiaoli said quickly. Looking at the monsters getting closer and closer, Brother Hao found that there was more than one Tier 10, and that the Demon Dog and Demon Tiger were the same as Demon Tiger. There is no one below the 7th order. The weakest one is also comparable to the Gray-Black Dragon that they assembled their team to kill at the time. When other people saw this, some even retreated. At this moment, the Emperor Zhan drew out the huge sword in his hand and shouted, "Brave soldiers! Don't be afraid. Let me fight the enemy together. The great gods are protecting us. We will never be defeated by monsters." Oh. The master behind him shouted, "Long live your majesty the Emperor. Priests, give the soldiers the courage to fight." The Emperor Zhan shouted again. A dozen high-ranking priests immediately bloomed with a large white and golden brilliance, covering the entire radius of several kilometers. Including the Hao brother in the sky found himself a lot of buff. For example, super sensitive, 10% increase in reaction speed, agility. Super strength increase strength by 10%. Super experienced, increases magic power by 10%. And many more. Part 2. With these buffs, Brother Hao felt that he was at least half stronger than before. Many players are blessed by buff, and they are full of courage in an instant, and have a lot of confidence in the future battles. The rumbling vibration is getting closer. The Emperor waved his sword again. "Don't be afraid. All the 7th tier and above will charge with me." Charge. The moment the Emperor Zhan drank wildly, his body suddenly began to swell. From the original small giant of 1.9 meters to 2 meters, the platinum armor on his body swelled a lot. A phantom guardian also appeared on his body. As soon as Zhandi took off, he slew towards the iron demon tiger. Roar. When Mohu saw an ant running towards him, he wanted to slap him to death with a palm, just like the humans I met before. The palm of the tiger, the size of the Emperor Zhan's body, set off a gust of wind, and it was close to the front of the Emperor Zhan in the blink of an eye. Indestructible battle body. The Emperor Zhan yelled, and a huge white gold figure appeared on his body as if it were real. This figure only has the upper body, and after appearing, his arms are folded together and kept in front of him. The palm of the steel devil tiger slapped fiercely on the arms of the figure, making a sound of gold and iron. Minus 8,684. The whole figure of the platinum giant shook. The blood bar on the top of the War Emperor's head dropped by 1/50th. As the palm fell, the Emperor roared, "Monster! You also punch me. Open the mountain." The platinum giant hit the iron devil tiger with a violent blow. Orbit a number of minus 2,580 jumped out of Mohu. The players glanced at the red blood bar on the head of the demon tiger. Only a trace of blood was lost. The kind that is less than 1%. I go. This War Emperor is good food. Fuck it. The difference between the two main generals is so big. Are we still slapped? Some players were furious. Call Nima. If you don't dare to fight, get out. Do you understand what makes people more powerful? But there are more than 30 wild monsters. Look at you. Haha. How many of these monsters are in front of our players? One fireball killed them all. Look at my ultra-long distance fireball technique with a range of up to 1 kilometer. A player yelled, and a super long-range fireball hit the steel devil tiger. 0, I'm going. 0 damage. This boss has some strength, the fireball player shouted. This Nima is too difficult, right? It must be too bad. Saibi is better to fight the little boss behind. The player said, a lightning strike from a long distance. Minus 0. This big boss is so strong. Let's give it to the NPC. We only need to participate in the battle and wait for the end of the mixing equipment. The player who had just released the lightning shouted. The players have no time to pay attention to this guy who doesn't follow the preface. Both the mage and the hunter are doing output at the farthest distance they can reach. But the soldiers and thieves waited for melee but got blind. How does Nima steal the output? It won't be second to go up, right? If we don't participate in the war, we will come for nothing? Close combat is really hard to mix. The long-range professions such as mages and hunters are very happy to attack behind. Suddenly someone shouted, "Grass! I found a secret. Have you seen anything written in the monster introduction? Shillong Soderbergh's Enchanted Servant. This is not the uproar that made a while ago. It is said that you can send NPCs of legendary materials." Oh, really? Some other players also found out. It's so outrageous. So, aren't these tier 10 bosses all his younger brothers? Oh my god. Then how many ranks does he want? No wonder he will send legendary materials. Wait, aren't we looking for this Shillong? We dealt with his subordinates in this way. Can we still come to him to pick up tasks when we meet someone in the future? Someone seemed to think a lot. What do you care about so much? What we are doing now is a special task. The all-knowing Almighty God. GM told us to do it. If you don't want to do it, get out. Long live the omniscient and almighty God. Please give me the legendary equipment. While these players are doing output, they are still chatting casually. In other words, the battle between the War Emperor and the Steel Devil Tiger was from the beginning when the Devil Tiger suppressed the War Emperor. This Steel Devil Tiger is not afraid of pain at all. It has amazing defenses and infinite strength at the same time. Every time, it confronts the Emperor Jean and exchange blood. For every 1% of the Devil Tiger's loss, the Emperor of War must lose at least 1/30th. According to this situation, Emperor Jean couldn't hold on for too long. But fortunately, there was a pastor team of more than a dozen people behind the Emperor. When the healing brush was flying, it actually made the Emperor and the Demon Tiger draw. The battlefield between the two was constantly roaring, and ordinary monsters and low-rank fighters did not dare to approach. Sage Dharma flies in the air. He is a 7-skeleton rank 10 powerhouse. Better than the Emperor of War. Being in midair, FA Sage is like a magic turret, with hundreds of magic blasting towards the fire elemental dog below like raindrops. The fire elemental demon dog splits into thousands of small flames that seem to have life, and blasts toward the sage. The battle between the two is like two turrets blasting against each other, and the explosion of firework-like elements keeps roaring. The monster behind him and the strong man of the kingdom quickly fought together. But the powerhouse of the kingdom is not the opponent of the monsters at all. But fortunately, these monsters don't seem to have a strong sense of combat, and there is no team command. They don't know what to enclose. As long as you see humans, you will kill them all. They are like a group of beasts that only know how to kill, and they don't have the intelligence that high-level monsters should have. The surrounding players who had not dared to fight forward were directly targeted by a large number of monsters. A praying mantis over 7 meters tall. A jump, the whole body disappeared directly, and then weirdly appeared in the player group. Its front limbs are sharp and huge like a sickle of death, just a light wave. Players will be cut in half. It was cut open as easily as thin paper. Each slash damage is as high as 20,000 or so. For players with only a few thousand lives at most, this is an absolute kill. Its sickle-like forelimbs swung extremely fast, and could harvest the lives of more than a dozen players every second. White light flickered continuously beside it. Some were afraid of melee and started to flee, and some were not afraid at all, and directly confronted the praying mantis. Single-digit damage of -1-2-5 is constantly emerging from the mantis. Until the remote mage player reacted, a pile of magic hit the mantis. You can hit a wave of high output just by seeing it. As soon as the mantis was hit, ripples appeared in the space, and the huge mantis disappeared. When it reappeared, it had already reaped its lives among the players 100 meters away. This is a very powerful 9th Order and 8 skeleton boss with the ability to travel through the void for a short time. There is also a monster with a lion-faced human body that can shuttle through the shadows, like a ruthless assassin. Every time it appears, it will inevitably stick out in the shadow of a certain player. Attack from behind. That sharp claw pierced the player's throat with one blow. This is a fierce slaughter battle. More than 30 monsters, like tigers rushing into the flock, kill wantonly. In just a few minutes, more than 10,000 players and soldiers who came afterwards were killed. Among these deaths, players and NPC soldiers were 7:3. And the monsters did not even die. Thousands of soldiers died, but they couldn't kill a monster. This caused the morale of some NPC soldiers to drop drastically. Another few minutes passed. Players lost more than 30,000, and soldiers lost more than 10,000. Part 3. Some soldiers finally couldn't help but collapse and shout, trying to escape. But at this time, the most terrifying thing is often not the enemy. It's friendly forces. Several wizards in charge of the warlord smashed down with several lightning bolts. A few moments when he dared to escape, he was chopped into coke. This allowed the soldiers to bite the bullet and continue fighting. And the Emperor Jean and some main forces shouted words of encouragement from time to time, and the whole battle was barely supported. This mainly depends on players. These players are not afraid of death. Their number has increased over time. Players from nearby cities swarm in like locusts. Even if their output is extremely low, most people attack the boss without breaking the defense. But they are crowded. Even out of 10,000 people, 8,000 do not break the defense, 1,000 hurt single digits, and hundreds hurt more than a dozen. Some masters can hurt dozens of the rest. Aogu and other teams are not full at this time. Only 6 people. Although people are dissatisfied, the main force is there. They are very clear about the gap between themselves and the monster. They are only doing output remotely. Their target is a silverback gorilla. This orangutan is 8 meters high and is a 7th Order 8 skeleton-level boss. In the boss group, it is undoubtedly one of the weakest. But a pair of iron fists is also very powerful, and smashing people is like smashing wild vegetables. One punch will ruin one. Only a few high-level fighters, like Brother Monkey, who have been blessed with various buffs, can resist one punch. This is the case. A punch is still blood, and it must be replaced immediately. As the weakest boss, he loses blood very fast. After all, he is one of the weakest bosses, and the main target for players to attack. The injuries on the body are so intense that I can hardly understand it. 1232451216692526988-12102-9 in a pile of damage. Occasionally there will be a very outrageous data compared to other damage. That's Brother Hao's output. Holding the legendary staff, his damage is not on the same plane as the others. Roar. The silver-backed demon ape roared. He was badly injured by Brother Hao's flame, and his life had fallen by half. At least 200,000 lives were lost. A pair of bright red eyes crossed several fighters who had been pulling hatred, staring at Brother Hao in the distance. Roar. It cried strangely, took off, and jumped to Brother Hao. OT it. Brother Hao run. Xiaoli shouted loudly. Don't shout. Don't you understand my strength? Huashunshin. Brother Hao lit a flame on the ground 5 to 600 meters away. The huge black shadow of the silver-backed gorilla had already enveloped Hao Ji's head at the moment of falling. Brother Hao disappeared in a flash, appearing on the fire before. Wow. Wow. The silverback gorilla that fell on the ground found that Brother Hao was missing, and he was very angry when he was attacked by a bunch of attacks. He picked up a mage who wanted to escape and flicked it under the horrified gaze of the opponent. Call. The mage turned into a cannonball in a supersonic posture, blasting at the distant brother. Damn it. Brother Hao screamed. His magical power is far beyond ordinary people, and together with his mental power is also super strong. The reaction is naturally quick. After an exclamation, he's straight down to the ground. The mage's cannonball blasted and hit a priest behind him. The priest didn't even say a word, and exploded like 2 watermelons colliding with the wizard at high speed. Ah! Seeing that they missed the target, the silver-backed gorilla hammered his chest a little angrily and let out a strange cry. Immediately afterwards, he took a few steps, came to the mage group, picked up each mage, and threw it at Brother Hao amidst the screams of the other party. However, Brother Hao, with agility that was not like a wizard, rolled around and hid. 2 big watermelons burst again behind him. Hold the grass. Duan Tianhao. You bastard. Don't hide from him. Hurry up and die. You won't die. We are all dead. Someone recognized the identity of Brother Hao and cried strangely. He was almost killed just now. Fortunately, there is a bad luck in front of you. Otherwise, it is definitely him who will die. Lao Tzu, you're a chicken. Brother Hao cursed in his heart. He didn't have the time to pay attention to the idiot who called just now. It's not in a hurry to hide from human missiles. After evading a few shots again, the people around the hapless guy stopped doing it. Someone shouted, Brothers, let's kill Duan Tianhao first. Otherwise, our team will be messed up. Okay, fuck him. A group of people agreed. Wuxia World. Online, they stopped attacking the silverback gorilla and instead attacked Brother Hao. How did this make Brother Hao suffer? Really, there were tigers and wolves in front of him. In a burst of unwilling curses, Brother Hao was caught by a warlock's shadow net because he ran out of life-saving skills, and then he was killed by a human cannonball. There have been people such as Aogu who have been paying attention to Brother Hao silently, and they are speechless for a while. Are you making a mistake? Brother Hao, who was still so confident just now, died at this meeting and was killed by the players. Hey, I still don't think about it. The local tyrants themselves are enough to make people jealous. They are still dodge in the crowd. Who do you kill if you don't kill? Chapter 279. Oge and the others were helpless and could only turn grief and anger into strength. Everyone stormed the silverback gorilla, until a few more minutes passed. Only then did the first monster die. It is the silverback gorilla. As soon as this monster dies, many players want to open the corpse, but how can other players nearby agree and greet it directly? This made the battle even more chaotic. In the real world, in a luxurious room, a young man lying on the bed awoke silently. It's Brother Hao. He clutched his dizzy head tightly and punched the bed under him. Fuck. Those bastards. I am jealous that I am rich and handsome. Attack me. Otherwise, with my skills, how could I die in the hands of a 7th order boss? What a fuck. Ah yo, Brother Hal felt his head tremble as soon as he finished shouting, hastily covered it. The headache of death punishment is definitely not so pleasant. It's almost like someone has an electric drill to drill his forehead, and there is a burst of tingling. Mada, those bastards, I remember you. Damn it, I can't sleep yet. I must continue to see the results. Brother Hal muttered. He has obsessive-compulsive disorder. Press a button on the head of the bed firmly. Brother Hal's door was opened, and a young woman of about 20 years old in a maid's uniform walked in. Judging from its appearance, it is 8 or 9 points similar to Xiaoli in the game. As soon as the woman came in, she saw Brother Hal clutching his head and wailing, and hurriedly ran to help him. Brother Hal, why are you still up? Look at what hurts you. Xiaoli, help me to the computer desk. I want to see the result of that war. Hurry up, Brother Hal shouted. This woman is indeed Xiaoli in the game. The two actually live together. The Oge team didn't even know. In fact, Xiaoli is a female master hired by Brother Hal. She can't accompany her in the game, but she must accompany in reality. Of course, the relationship between the two is nothing more. After all, Brother Hal is absolutely handsome. Too many women want to him. Xiaoli is just one of many women who want to be superior. Good, good. Don't worry, Xiaoli said. He quickly helped Brother Hal to come to the front seat of the computer in the cubicle. Turn on computer. Brother Hal searches for Blackrock Plane War on a certain website. Thousands of messages are popped up in one click. He glanced at the top video. Blizzard City, Monster Siege War, real-time recording and broadcasting. That's it. The strange world of Dora's Tomb has a special class of bard, which is like a reporter in reality. It can record video and broadcast it in real time. Click in. The video inside was shot from high above. The battle outside Blizzard City continued. Brother Hal's death did not affect the situation at all. Accompanied by the passionate commentary of the bard, players joined the battle one after another. Dear play, up to now, in the battle that lasted for half an hour, we have defeated the first monster, a silverback gorilla. I feel victory beckoning to us. Soon our army will completely drown these monsters. Shillong Soderbergh's enchanted servant. What a powerful and evil monster. But don't be afraid. We are warriors to save the world. A brave chosen by the omniscient and almighty God. This kind of enemy is nothing at all. Come on, everyone. The artifact is beckoning to us. The bard, the host, kept talking. Ah, what are you doing? Why are you messing up? The soldiers and thieves are all rushing towards the dead silverback gorilla. Is this trying to touch the body? Huh. The players behind have also shot. Hellfire, Ice Storm, Lightning Chain Lock, Endless Windblade. 1,000 arrows are fired. Wow, even. This is too gorgeous. They are all powerful skills of Tier 6 and Tier 7. Let us mourn for the thieves and soldiers who want to touch the corpse. In the lake, countless brilliant skills swarmed around the silverback gorilla corpse. Players who dared to approach didn't even hum. They were immediately turned into scum. A bunch of trash. Just know how to the body. Attack your teammates. The mob. Brother Hal scolded, clutching his head. He is still angry at being killed by the player before. If this continues, this monster doesn't need to be shot, and players can kill their own people by infighting. Brother Hal analyzed. The fact is also true. A group of disorderly players, the game does not have the same team, the same camp, the function of injury immunity, large-scale events. There will always be some problems. Many people have discovered this problem, but no one can do anything about it. But suddenly, the abdomen of the silverback cracked open, and a golden light flew from it. The nearby players were stunned. The director, the bard, was shocked and suddenly excited. Wow! Dear audience grandma, just now suddenly received a system message from the all-knowing and almighty God. All monsters' rewards are temporarily collected. After all monsters are eliminated, they will be distributed according to their work, and some will be randomly distributed. So everyone should try to fight the boss. It is no longer realistic to grab treasure or something. The players in the screen finally stopped fighting at this time and began to attack other living monsters. Brother Hal quietly listened and watched. But because of the dizziness, the brows were not relaxed. Soon, his brow frowned into a horoscope. Xiaoli, what are you doing? Brother Hal lowered his head and watched Xiaoli start to move again. Brother Hal, I'm using distraction Dafa. I have checked white poison. If you want to make people with headaches feel better, you must use some special methods to let the person involved devote themselves to other things. And what I am doing now is one of the most effective ways. Xiaoli has a pair of peach eyes, full of affection. Brother Hal was somewhat silent. Xiaoli, a good solution, but I don't have any ideas about that right now. Hey, you stop for me first. I want to continue watching the live broadcast. Brother Hal took a hard breath and stared at Xiaoli, who was still dishonest. Oh, what Brother Hal said? Xiaoli smiled awkwardly. This woman. The brain is not good. Do you really think it is more important than games? Save it. Brother Hao said something in his heart and continued to watch the live broadcast. With the death of the silverback gorilla, the strength of the monster army has been fundamentally weakened. Even if it is only a little bit, it is also weakened. Other bosses have lost a lot of lives more or less, and many have entered the beheading line. The number of players has not decreased at all. This is also because there are enough players. There are definitely more than 2 to 3 million players in the nearby cities alone. That's it. Can't you drown you? The monsters died one after another, and every time they died, thousands of players were buried with them. Soon, only 2 tier 10 monsters were left dead. The 2 monsters had also lost 4/5 of their lives at this time, and their lives were dying. The Iron Demon Tiger roared again and again. His paws flapped frantically, but in any case he could not break through the defense of the Emperor. The range of action is limited. Long-range attacks fell on it like dense raindrops. Even with its defensive capabilities, it cannot withstand such intensive attacks. In ancient times, there were water droplets and stones, and no matter how strong the defense was, it could not withstand endless attacks and bombardments one after another. The 2 monsters persisted for more than 10 minutes before they were finally killed. Hundreds of thousands of players made a sensation. They cheered, and they were all ready to draw. A group of people are praying that the equipment will fall into their homes. Some people even yelled, "Great God of all-knowing and almighty, please let me be lucky. Just one time is enough. For this reason, I am willing to wash my little daisies and look forward to your ride. All-knowing and almighty God, System Father loves me. I am your son." Part 2. The players were very excited and roared loudly, but their shots flashed away. The camera quickly came to the Emperor Jean. I saw that the triumphant Emperor Zhandi didn't seem to have any relaxed expressions at all, and his expression was still extremely heavy. The battle is over, but His Majesty Zhandi seems not happy at all. Why is this? According to my guess, there is only one possibility, that is, the war is not over. Monster Siege. After the first wave is over, there will be a second wave. The third wave. First. Wait. I just received the news from the all-knowing and almighty God that the evil has not yet dissipated, and the huge evil hidden in the Stormwind Forest, Silent Soderberg, has not yet retreated. The regional mission is upgraded to a global mission. I will open portals in all cities. All players can go to Stormwind Forest to fight evil. Young, meaningless brave men. Destroy the ultimate evil. I will reward the most outstanding player with the most suitable artifact. Damn it, this is not just a legend. Even the artifact appeared. The bard player excitedly said. Brother Hao in front of the computer was furious. He slapped his desktop fiercely and said angrily, "Bad son. Actually rewarded the artifact. If it weren't for me being overcast by those bastards, the artifact is definitely mine. How could that group of waste compare with me to export? I am definitely the first output." He is angry. Brother Hao, don't hit the table. If it hurts, your hands will be bad. You want to hit my fleshy place. Then you won't hurt. Shaoli grabbed Hao's hand and turned around, winking like silk. Forget it. Forget it. Let me keep watching. Don't bother me. Hiss whoops. Brother Hao waved his hand impatiently, holding his head and continued watching, leaving Shaoli alone, pouting his lips, his expression depressed. The players in the screen seemed to be inspired, yelling one by one. On the plain not far from Stormwind, hundreds of portals appeared. Groups of players emerged from it like ants. Brave destiny. God is with you. Accept my power. Suppress the ultimate evil. A magnificent voice spread from the sky, and all players were shrouded in brilliance. Wow. Great action. Great action. The all-knowing and almighty God is coming again. This time it's not just a world boss battle, but the all-knowing and almighty God also buffed everyone. Let me see. Divine power. All attributes plus 50%. Casting speed increased by 50%. The duration is 96 hours, and death will not dissipate. Awesome. Brothers. With this buff, I feel like I can do it every day. The bard's passionate voice sounded again. The black squeezing players below will only take a while to occupy the entire outer wall and ground. There are too many people, one by one, just like being beaten with blood. The ones with flying ability have already flown to the sky. Everyone screamed and killed to Stormwind Forest. Inside the Storm Forest, Shillong watched quietly as the radiation dependents were all wiped out. He didn't even blink his eyes. Analyze in mind. According to the original combat power of the previous city, the dependents sent earlier are absolutely sufficient. But the rank 10, legendary level guy wearing platinum armor and platinum robe suddenly appeared from the portal. There were also many masters behind them, all of which were level 10 or higher according to the strength of the main material realm. There are those players who rushed out of the portals in the city. These portals were not there at the beginning. Is the behind it all playing tricks? Let people from nearby cities about 100 kilometers come to help. There are also those players, although they were waste, but there were too many, and finally eliminated my dependence. What is it now? Why did hundreds of portals appear there again? Why did the players run out in a swarm? Still screaming and rushing towards me? Shillong watched silently. This amount is at least 5 to 600,000, right? And still increasing? What do they want? Wouldn't it be you want to me? Shillong suddenly thought of this possibility. The Behind is ready to rely on this group of players to kill me? Isn't it wrong? Shillong watched for a while until the players' team expanded to the million level. A large number of players broke into the forest and appeared in front of him with excitement, before he confirmed that it seemed like this. Their eyes are bright and they are very excited. When they see Shillong, they seem to see their favorite beauty dancing to them. The players pointed at Shillong and shouted, "That's the dragon! Shillong Soderbergh. Just kill him to get the artifact. Brothers, kill. For the omniscient and almighty God. For the girl. For the money. For the artifact. Evil dragon. Welcome to justice." Shillong silently watched these rabid-like players. One by one melee fighters charged him. As he approached, a series of skills of all the fighters smashed on him. Serial slash. Shield strike. Cruel blow. Shadowless sword. Blade storm. Turn it around for Lao Tzu. -000000000 without exception. All are unbreakable. In the shadows behind them, thieves were like fleas on all parts of Shillong's body, slamming them with their daggers. Backstab. Eviscerate. Gouge. Sunder armor. Cut. -000000000 another series of unbreakable defenses. UU reading www.uukangshu.com. Fuck. Why do you add the buff to something and still not break the defense? How can this be played? Someone roared. Shillong glanced at this guy, who was a dual-wielded warrior. While talking, the two swords were still dancing wildly. Chopping on his scales is just like chopping on an iron block, sparkling fire everywhere. Are you attacking me? Shillong looked at the warrior and asked, "Is that the command of the omniscient and almighty God?" Chapter 280. I'm going. What a smart boss. Actually, you still know that the omniscient and almighty is going to kill him? The warrior was taken aback. Yes. Just kill you. I have a magical weapon. Kill me? Shillong was stunned. You are so weak. Why do you think you can kill me? There is a limit to stupidity? Shillong sneered. I'll go. You have so much nonsense as a boss? Do you dare to look down on our destiny? Is this Nima going against the sky? The warrior muttered. He glanced at the thieves who were still attacking from behind and the warriors who were slashing around. He was chatting with the boss. What's up? Do him. Someone reminded him by his side. I'm not doing this. The soldier cursed and attacked quickly. Shillong stood and let them chop. These attacks didn't break the defense at all. What are they doing so hard? Fuck it. Why doesn't it break the defense for so long? This monster has too much patience, right? Someone shouted. Obviously, many players can't break the defense, but they didn't panic at all because of this patience. Just like a drop of water through a stone, the resistance of the attacked object will decrease after multiple attacks. When it drops to 0, it will receive the lowest damage. Then reset patience and repeat. As long as there are enough players, God will kill you too. This is the arrogance of the players. Clang an inconspicuous sound rang, and among the countless explosions, it was not special, nor did it attract the attention of other melee players. But Shillong's attention was attracted. There was a peculiar expression on his dragon's face. Of course, this expression was incomprehensible to humans. He twisted his neck, which was neither long nor short, lifted his tail slightly, and looked down. I saw a thief in black tight leather armor and a black face mask holding a dagger and stabbing under his tail vigorously. That was the location of the original dragon's chrysanthemum gate. Stabbed with a dagger, it seemed to feel that the hand was not right, and a strange color appeared in the thief's eyes. Why is there no Achilles heel? I have researched here. Chrysanthemum gate. It's not right. I have not dealt with dragons once or twice. Why is there not this one? Human, what are you doing? Shillong asked, looking at the thief. When other players saw Shillong speak to a player, they immediately focused their attention. It's the Emperor of Thieves. The Emperor of Chrysanthemum Thorns. Legend has it that the strongest thieves who can find out the life of all monsters. It must be the appearance of the King of Thieves, which made this dragon feel a sense of crisis, said a fan brother who is also a thief. The sense of crisis of fart. A tier 12 boss will be afraid that you are tier 7? Is there a brain hole? Someone cursed. Do you know what a fart? Can the strength of my big thief emperor be measured by rank? Don't you need to use your mouth? Chao Nima's emperor can't blow it hard. Chao Nima's Huanghe has no parents. The two players scolded as they spoke. Why? You don't have a chrysanthemum door. The Emperor of Thieves took a deep breath and asked. Everything is done. Whether it is a human, a beast, or a dragon or a demon, these creatures should have a chrysanthemum gait. I have studied thousands of secret strategies, the body structure of tens of thousands of monsters. Why will it not work for you? The thief seemed a little bit incredulous. Shillong looked at the thief, who seemed to be hit in silence. A faint black light flashed on the forehead. Are you an idiot? As a perfect creature, how can I have such a useless organ? Useless organs? The Emperor's voice suddenly became louder. You actually said that Juman is a useless organ? You bastard. Don't understand the greatness of Juman at all. It is the excretion of everything. Because of it, the stomach can survive. Because of it, only when everything is done can you easily and happily excrete unnecessary waste. Bastard. Do you know the consequences without it? You will be suffocated to death. Correct. You bastard. Why can I still live without Juman? This unscientific. The thief exclaimed angrily. Listening to the exquisite remarks of the King of Thieves, some Thieves players stopped, excitedly exclaimed, yes, this is unscientific. Which designed the stupid boss? Why doesn't it have the weakness of Juman? This designer is targeting us thieves. Against our King of Thieves. Shillong was speechless. His eyes narrowed slightly. The tail flicked at a speed far above the speed of sound. After leaving a gas explosion cloud in place, it blasted on the Emperor's body. Pong. The King of Thieves didn't have any resistance, and his body exploded on the spot, torn apart. A big minus 165,444 floated from his broken body. Fuck. What a despicable. This giant dragon is so despicable. It actually took advantage of the thief king to sneak attack. Brothers of thieves. Damn him. A thief roared with blood-red eyes. He jumped onto Shillong's body in a few steps, then a few more jumps and landed in front of Shillong's door. A dagger stuck straight into Shillong's eyeball. The dragon didn't seem to see the dagger's surprise attack, and he didn't even blink his eyes. The perfect dagger is stuck in the dragon's eyeballs. Go to hell. Despicable boss. The thief was overjoyed. He knew that eyes were definitely the weakness of all living things. No matter how strong you are, the eyeball must also be fragile. Even if this attack can't kill you, it can definitely hit a super high amount of damage. No matter who kills the boss afterwards, he will definitely get high rewards for his performance. The thief has already thought of the wonderful life after him, but soon he discovered that it was wrong. Feels wrong. The dragon did not scream. He glanced intently. His perfect dagger seemed to be inserted into an iron block with a temperature of 10,000 degrees. Dissolve quickly. Drops of molten iron are directly absorbed by the monster's eyeballs. Me. My dagger. The thief screamed and quickly drew back the dagger. At this time, the dagger had already melted away. The thief felt extremely distressed, regardless of whether he was still on the battlefield or on the shoulders of the monster. He directly opened the equipment bar and checked his dagger. The durability is 0. In a severely damaged state. How could this be? The thief howled miserably. Many people also discovered this scene and were surprised. This Nima. The eyes are not his weakness? Didn't I say it? As a perfect ultimate creature, I am not what you ants can imagine. There is no weakness. Even if you enter the universe, you will not stop thinking. Shillong explained lightly. Did not pay attention to the crawler on the shoulder at all. Impossible. All creatures will have weaknesses. The thieves under Shillong shouted, jumping on Shillong like a flea, attacking all parts frantically, but it's useless. The damage is always -0. But soon, a -1 injury came out of his head. Broken defense. Brothers. I found his weakness. This scale on the left cheek. It must be his reverse scale. Everyone is attacking here. Some players shouted excitedly. Shillong glanced at his life silently. 18.89 million. The life lost was restored in the next second, but a group of players became excited, and they began to attack here. But the attack is still -0. The weakness of the fart. This Jedi pair is forced to break the defense after the patience is 0. A player shouted. Mada. It doesn't matter if there is no weakness. As Destiny, we can't clean up a boss? Some players roared. All players are ignored. He began to slash at all parts of Shillong's body. The mage players who were a step slower in the distance finally arrived, and the magic was overwhelming and smashed down Shillong. -0.000000100000. Thousands of -0 will always be mixed with a number of -1. Although the damage is low and pitiful, they can't stand their large numbers, and they can still cause hundreds of damage every second. Part 2. This made Shillong fully feel what it means to be more powerful. But it's useless. These are just useless efforts. His own recovery ability allows him to regain his blood in a second. In the smoke flooded by magic, he slapped a little lazily. What is this? Then the omniscient and almighty wants to defeat me with these wastes? This boss is afraid of ice. Suddenly there was a loud shout, and everyone heard the words, looking for reputation. It is a man wearing a black wizard robe and a top hat. It's the witch saint. The first wizard witch saint. Someone shouted wildly. Fart. It's the former number 1 mage. Now I can't say that the witch saint is number 1. Someone immediately retorted. Noisy. Use the ice method. Use all ice spells that can be used. Even the hunters are no exception. Frozen arrow. Cereal frost arrow. Ice cone. Snowstorm. Frozen ring. One by one ice magic blasted down without money. The sky has become white flowers. The temperature of the air is dropping sharply. 0.0001000. The damage this time was significantly higher than before. Shillong's blood loss per second and recovery after removal have reached an astonishing 1,000 points. He suffers tens of thousands of injuries every second. The blasted ground beneath him was directly frozen by ice, leaving a layer of ice several meters thick. At 19 million lives per second requires 19,000 seconds, equal to 315 minutes, equal to more than 5 hours. What the hell? These guys can actually kill me in 5 hours? Is this calculated? It's not right. Do these have enough magic power? Shillong lazily looked at a large group of wizards in the distance who had begun to take drugs. Shillong has been under siege for more than 2 minutes. The blood bar on the top of the head finally lost a trace. And it is this little bit that makes the players cheer. Brothers, keep going. Just keep going. Sooner or later we can kill the boss. The artifact is waiting for us. Everyone released spells desperately. There was no place to cast spells on the ground. But there were more and more people outside, and many people flew to the sky to attack Shillong. This made Sillon's blood loss speed up again. Soon it came to the point of 1,500 per second. I go. Impressive. Shillong was slightly surprised. The body swelled again in the surprised eyes of a group of players. Become a giant dragon with a body length of more than 100 meters and a height of almost 50 meters. His long tail protruded directly from the endless cold air, and the raised dragon head looked straight ahead. It seemed that he didn't care about the ants around him. He didn't even glance down. This is a huge dragon. Players find themselves looking up at this behemoth, just like their little cat looking up at themselves. What makes them even more desperate is that the rank of this giant dragon has become rank 13. The value of life has become 78 million. Then all players discovered a terrible thing. How is this possible? With so many of us attacking, why is his blood volume still slowly recovering? Someone collapsed and shouted, Fuck. Our special damage hasn't returned to blood faster than this monster. This is a fart. The players are desperate. Stand and kill tens of thousands of players. None of this will kill. Is there anything more worried than this? Stupid system. Why is there such a powerful boss? Have you considered the feelings of the players? What about NPC? Didn't you say that you will deal with the boss together? Why haven't you come here yet? I have come here again. I received a message from my friend that this will have just assembled the familiar tier 10 experts from various empires, and many more. My friend sent another message. Those strong guys stopped. It seems to have received some instructions, but now it has dispersed, maybe running away. Some players shouted with a pained expression. Damn, this SB system. What the idiot, omniscient and almighty is doing. How can we continue this activity like this? Some players yelled. Huh. Shillong, who had been enveloped by the icy freezing air, suddenly looked into the distance, as if the sleeping dragon. More than 20 legendary powerhouses are gathering there, and thousands of strong players. I had been running towards him, but after he became larger, he turned and dispersed. What is this for? Are you ready to escape? This can't work, the of this world. Come and try to resist my strength. Synopsis said softly. Ignoring the players who were like ants under them, the hind limbs supported the weight of at least 500,000 to 600,000 tons and slowly stood up. The noodles have sunk into the boss. This boss is going to fight back. Everyone is careful, someone shouted vigilantly. Maid, I don't think this boss can fight at all. Run first. You can play with him. Another player cursed and wanted to retreat, but the people around were too dense to run. The crowded Wuxia world. Online some players were even squeezed to the ground. Others were squeezed to the front and directly entered the range of the player's spell attack range from behind. They didn't die in Shillong's hands, but were killed by other players. The scene is in chaos. His Synopsis took a light breath, and then the suction became stronger and stronger, and the air, cold air, and some spells were all poured into the giant dragon's open mouth. It was like a bottomless pit. No matter what, it can be digested. The scales on the dragon's chest were torn apart, exposing the unsuspecting metal body inside. Some sharp-eyed players aim at this nakedness and use spells, wanting to deal extra damage. But when these spells approached, large swaths of red golden light radiated from them in a cone. Chapter 281. Along with this light, there is still a lot of heat. The air in front of me instantly became extremely viscous, and the high temperature of hundreds of degrees turned it into a molten hell. The unlucky people who were close to the front of Shillong for a kilometer, or 100 meters around, were all baked by this high temperature. Hundreds or thousands of health drops every second, and within a few seconds, a large number of people will turn into white light and disappear. This is the domain skill of the boss. It's amazing. A continuous skill. Thousands of players are dead. Someone exclaimed. Damn it. This dragon is too insidious. He opened his mouth and sucked in all the air conditioning created by the ice magic before, just to let his domain grill us unscrupulously. A wise man, player analyzed. Quickly step back. Now if the NPC is strong, we can't get into this boss at all. His domain is too strong. The opened huge mouth can absorb all spells. It's impossible to fight. Having said that, they couldn't stand back at all, and there were too many players behind who kept squeezing here. A group of unlucky individuals were squeezed into the hot field of Shillong and burned to death. Hundreds of players die almost every second. The white light continued, and it looked spectacular. It's just that Shillong still doesn't seem to notice them. After the golden light on his chest burst out, he inhaled all kinds of magic for a few seconds, and the dragon closed his mouth. His belly swelled. Something seems to be brewing inside. Subsequently, this brewing thing slid upwards, and the dragon's neck slightly leaned back forward. The mouth opened instantly. Call out. Completely composed of red gold. It is like a real energy ball blasting forward. Its speed is too fast. Even more than a dozen layers of sonic boom air masses appeared on the side of Silem's mouth because of the excessive speed. The red golden ball of light appeared to disappear only in the blink of an eye. The players did not even see clearly. They had already crossed dozens of kilometers. Appeared in front of Dharma Sage instantly. 10 minutes ago. The west gate of Blizzard City is kilometers away, except for more than a dozen portals, which are constantly teleporting players. There are also Zhandi and Dharma. After a great battle, the platinum armors and robes of the Emperor and the Sage were a little shabby. The high-level professionals who had been around 100 had also lost more than half. The war is not over yet, but we have suffered heavy losses. What exactly are the demonized monsters this time? How terrifying is Sylvan Soderbergh who created these monsters? Can we really defeat this kind of horror existence only with us? The Emperor Jean looked at the forest in the distance. His face was worried. Your Majesty, you don't need to worry about this. All this is the will of the omniscient and almighty God. Fazhen said calmly. Yes, everything is the will of the all-knowing almighty God. Suddenly a voice came from the two of them. Zhandi and Fashing showed a little surprise and turned to look. I saw an old man wearing a pure white priest's robe, smiling and standing aside. You are the Pope of the Omniscience, Promi? Zhandi asked in surprise. It's rare that His Majesty the Emperor remembered me, and it really touched me. Pope Promi smiled, then put his right hand on his chest and performed the etiquette of an omniscient and almighty God. God sent me over to help you eliminate evil. Unexpectedly, God actually let the Pope, who is tens of thousands of kilometers away, come, and indeed God did not abandon us. The Emperor Jean was somewhat surprised. I was worried about how to deal with demonized monsters before. It seems that God has already considered everything for his followers. The believer only needs to act according to God's will. Yes, God never abandoned your Lord, and all the people of the world. Another priest in red appeared beside the Emperor Jean and others. This is also a great figure of all-knowing sect, a 10th tier strong archbishop. God bless us. Another figure with a silver longbow appeared. This is the hunting king of the Northern Safari Kingdom, Amps, 10th level powerhouse. White light flashed one after another, and soon, the Emperor Jean gathered 25 people. These people are the rank 10 powerhouses of the entire continent. At this moment, they are all gathered here. God arranged for us to fight against evil together with you. Your Majesty the Emperor. The strongest of all, Pope all-knowing Pope, Promi smiled. Thank God for your blessing. Zhandi smiled. As a handsome middle-aged man, his smile was very charming. Can make people feel comfortable from the heart. Braves of God, let's move forward together. His Majesty the Pope, holding up the golden scepter bestowed by God in his hand, indexed the blizzard forest 10 kilometers away. The surrounding tier 10 powerhouses shouted one by one, for God, for humanity. Then they flew into the sky one by one. He glanced at the human beings rushing to the blizzard forest under his body, like a colony of ants. Fighting seems to have broken out there. The trees are burning. The smoke of various explosions continued to rise to the sky from the forest. Just when the rank 10 powerhouses were about to fly over and deal with the evil with the players. Suddenly, they all seemed to have been cast a hold magic, and they were shocked in the air. The faces of all strong men were surprised and unbelievable. Just now, their great omniscient and almighty sent another message. And this news is also the root of their surprise. The great all-knowing and almighty has issued several orders today. We gathered everyone here once before, ready to cooperate with the endless destiny to destroy the king of monsters in the blizzard forest, just when all the strong are ready to shoot together. But another message was sent saying that the king of monsters has a secret protection and ordinary creatures can't hurt him. Only the destiny can match it. I want everyone to disband and return to the city. This is really a rush of interest and return in defeat. He glanced at a patch of destiny who was crushed in darkness. Emperor Jean and Faxing looked at each other and sighed. This world belongs to the destiny. They are the heroes of salvation. Those of us should really retire. Some strong men who lacked interest frowned and prepared to return. But at this moment, a red golden energy ball, at an unpredictable speed, spanned a distance of tens of kilometers in the blink of an eye, and appeared in front of the Fazhen after leaving behind a series of gas explosion clouds. What is this? Such a question could not help but pop up in the hearts of all the strong. But immediately this doubt disappeared, because the golden ball of light hit the magic saint. Then the red golden ball of light burst like a broken eggshell. When the first ray of white light rushed out of the red gold sphere like an eggshell, all the 10th tier powerhouses felt a throbbing from the soul. Within a 10,000th of a second, their heartbeat almost stopped, then was taken over by this terror. They know that they must run. Some people did the same, and they tried their best to flee farther. Some also used their life-saving tricks in an instant. But this is too short, whether they have made a choice or not. The scarlet gold sphere has completely broken, and endless white light has exploded. In just an instant, a huge ball of pure white light appeared out of thin air. Swallow everything within a few kilometers in diameter. This white light is the white light representing death. Everything included in it has endured hundreds of millions of degrees of high temperature within a 10,000th of a second. All people, as well as their equipment, no matter what material forged magic weapon. It's all like snowflakes encountering magma, disappearing instantly. It turned into a series of different colors of smoke, floating in the white light. This smoke, so ethereal, is what they have transformed. Boom boom. Part 2. Until now, a terrible roar sounded. This is the roar that can instantly deafen people's eardrums. Those players who were on the edge of the fireball, who had never felt the power of the fireball, were directly pierced by the roar. They let out a miserable howl. A puddle of blood ran down the ears, and the shock wave of the fire storm swept through. That is an indescribable and irresistible magnificent force. It pushes all the overpowering things that dare to stop in front of you. Whether it is a living person or a dead thing, or the dirt under him, all are promoted by strong forces. Because of being too close, the body was instantly torn, become a pile of debris, then was swept by a fire storm, turned into a burning flame. Booming rumble across the sky. A gray-black mushroom cloud replaced the pure white fireball of light, slowly rising. The impact of destruction is spreading. Almost everyone within 1 or 2 kilometers from the initial fireball was shattered and incinerated by the shock wave without much reaction time. The players who were far away from this distance finally reacted. They screamed in horror. Some are so dying, they even glanced back. It was this look that made their eyes feel like they were being burned on a fire. I couldn't cover my eyes and wailed. These people are also following in the footsteps of those in front. And some people didn't dare to look back. They ran forward desperately. Keep running. But the terrible roar slowly caught up to them. The eardrum burst and bleed instantly. They covered their ears and continued to run. A pair of legs is almost to the extreme, but it can't run through the firestorm that is close to the speed of sound. In the end are all involved. Because of the decline in power, they personally experienced the whole process of the body from being cut to breaking. I don't know if it is lucky or unfortunate. The shock of death quickly spread to the blizzard forest, but its impact has not dissipated yet. The wave of death that was close to 100 meters high is still 20 to 30 meters high at this time. It swept into the forest frantically. The trees are uprooted one by one. The players around Shillong looked at everything behind them in horror. Some of them wailed in place with their eyes covered. Who can tell me? What is going on? What are we going through? Why is there such a terrifying shock from the rear? Is there any high-level monster? Help! Help! The priest, please help me. Call the Nima. Bastard! Shut up, Lao Tzu. Lao Tzu's eyes hurt too. Others are able to effectively protect their eyes and allow a certain amount of time to think because of their strong strength, and the explosion has lasted for a period of time, and the white light has already weakened. Some of these people were smarter. Seeing the tragic situation of those involved, they committed suicide on the spot. Others still want to struggle and flee desperately. Some people even approached Shillong desperately, hiding behind him. Many people saw these smart players and quickly followed them. Shillong's body is very big. Even after he breathed out, his hind limbs were already bent, his forelimbs were supported straight on the ground. His head was erected, like a quiet old man, quietly admiring the distant fireworks. This provides players with a place of refuge. A large number of players hide behind the dragon. The other players followed behind, forming a long line and spreading backward for 100 meters. Some people from the left and right sides showed that the firestorm was getting closer, but the team was 100 meters away. At this time, it is obvious that we will continue to the future, and some are not in a hurry. One by one, their heads flashed, and they jumped directly onto the players in the line. They clung to the dragon's back, one by one, clutching the dragon's scales tightly in order to survive the coming firestorm. They don't want to experience the bad physical condition after death. Everyone else did so and jumped up. Everyone is like a koala, hugging the people around them tightly, layering on top of each other. Taking the dragon's back and the ground as the sides, a step that stretched backwards appeared. It looks a little funny. The giant dragon's body is huge, with thousands of people hiding behind it, but it can't meet the needs of the tens of thousands of people around. Those who find that they are not in a hurry can only attack the crowd. They want to replace some, even if it can't be replaced. I have to pull a few pads too. Swords, daggers, arrows, and spell bombing wiped out most of them in an instant, leaving them all gone. The others quickly filled in from one side. Mess. Very messy. But no matter how chaos, until the firestorm comes, they all have to stop their actions. Leaving the screaming scream alone. A group of people who still hadn't hidden behind Shillong were swept up directly, and their bodies were torn by the intense storm. Blood is spilled everywhere. The storm lasted for a long time, and the players hiding behind Shillong were also swept away because of the outer edge, or did not hold on tightly, or suffered too much wind. Rumbling, those who still remain hold everything they can hold to their lives. The terrible roar has been echoing in the Wuxia world. Online, they are like 3-year-old children. Facing the tornado disaster of nature, they can only hide behind Shillong and shiver. I don't know how long it has passed. It may be only a dozen seconds, it may have been several minutes, and it may be another hour. The players finally felt the storm past. One of them was the first to leave Shillong's back and lay on the ground exhausted. With a happy smile, he shouted, "Ha ha ha, Gowori's system wants Lao Tzu to die? That's impossible." A group of players all fell to the ground, closing their eyes and panting. This game is so exciting. It felt like surviving tenaciously from the storm of apocalypse. Chapter 282. Their hearts are beating non-stop. We are the strongest. Those who can survive the previous devastating impact are the strongest of the game. Those which saints and thieves are just scum. Some people yelled excitedly. Panting for a while, they opened their eyes. I saw above the sky, no longer the original blue, but a layer of gray haze. Dirty, messy, and disgusting. What is the gray fog above? Someone asked. He stretched out his hand and took a fist towards the sky. It was countless gray dust and fog. Is it dust? It actually covered the sky. They could breathe calmly when they hadn't seen the dust before, but after seeing it, they felt that what they breathed into their lungs was extremely poisonous, and it was extremely uncomfortable. Hastily stopped breathing. Cover his nose with his sleeve, then stand up and look around. Then they were shocked. The original dense forest was completely bald for nearly 10 kilometers. The surrounding dragon named Silent Soderberg still stared silently ahead, seemingly never paying attention to them as great players as saviors. He stands on the ground like a statue. The surrounding land was scraped off a thick layer. There are pits and bumps everywhere. These are all potholes left by the swept-away trees. What is going on? A player asked in confusion. They looked in the direction Shillong had been looking at. There is the direction of Blizzard City. But because there is too much dust and fog, they can't see too far. But there are always some advanced hunters who can see farther places after using Hawkeye. I saw the west gate of Blizzard City, which was supposed to be densely populated, has long since disappeared. There was a vast expanse of space, leaving only a large area of space that was burnt to distortion by the high temperature. The more distant city walls that were supposed to stand up to 10 meters high are no longer there. The residential house inside is gone. A piece of gray, in a very remote place, there is a high black wall. That is all the houses that have been destroyed, and the walls made of dust block them from continuing to look into the distance. The NPC powerhouse is gone. Hundreds of thousands of players are gone. Millions of NPC citizens are gone. The portals that stood upright are gone. What is the destruction shock just now? Hunter players are very puzzled. They are not in the mood to pay attention to what monsters are attacking the city. Destroy the evil Silent Soderberg? Save it. Don't say that you can't kill it all. The reinforcements are all dead. They just stared at everything around them blankly. Too weak. A voice sounded like a thunder. Some players who were sluggish were startled. This voice came from the mouth of the dragon beside him. They looked at the standing dragon and saw that his eyes, where the stream of golden particles converged, seemed to reveal mockery. You are too weak. Whether it is you who are destined, or those 10th rank strong, or the almighty God behind it, You, who can't resist even ordinary breathing, are like ants on the side of the road. You don't even have the qualification to be killed by me. I look up to you." There was no emotion in the dragon's words. What do you mean? Although this game is amazing, the non-death characteristics of the player does not make them too scared. This is a game gifted to them by God. Okay, it is a gift from the omniscient and almighty God. This is the common knowledge of most players. Shouldn't the monsters in the game be made by the omniscient and almighty for entertainment? Why does the NPC monster scold GM? Is it really what a conspiracy theory player said? Is there a big conspiracy in this world? The players thought. In a different space, Milbo, known as the omniscient and almighty God, looked at the screen in the void with a cold sweat. What is shown there is like a picture taken in space. Below a piece of gray dust and fog is a bare land. Before here is clearly a green plain, woods, and cities. Now they all disappeared. A few minutes ago, all humans like ant colonies were gone. The picture continues to zoom out to see that this is a circular pit with a radius of 70 or 80 kilometers. There is nothing in the pit. On the side of the pit, the lines are extraordinarily deep. That's everything in the previous pothole. The scrapped land, the lifted houses, the uprooted trees. A black edge composed of torn human NPCs. The whole picture gave Milbo a shudder. His legs were shaking uncontrollably. He swallowed hard and took a deep breath before Milbo barely suppressed his anxiety and fear. Wisdom brain. Is this the strength of tier 13? My strength at tier 11. In front of this kind of monster, is there any difference between it and ant? Dear qualified person, this is indeed the strength of the 13th order high level, and his attack strength is no longer the ordinary 13th order can do. In addition, you are stronger than the ants in front of the opponent. When the opponent kills the ants, you can trample dozens or millions to death. And to kill you, 1 foot can only trample you to death. This joke is not funny at all. Wisdom, Milbo said angrily. After a moment of silence, he actually covered his head and laughed nervously. Analysis. The eligible person may suffer a huge mental shock, have a neurological abnormal reaction, and need treatment. Need treatment. The cold electronic sound has a slight emotional fluctuation, just when it wants to start action. Milbo laughed and said, Brain. Don't worry. I don't have any problems. It's just a little excited. Excited the strength of the monster. The power of the 13th order is powerful. This power. Sooner or later I will have it too. Wisdom. Tell me how many players and NPCs died in this breath. According to statistics, the number of players killed in battle was 2,484,897, and the number of NPC killed in battle was 3,215,487. It adds up to more than 6 million. In the blink of an eye, more than 6 million died? This includes the only 25 tier 10s left on the mainland. Terrible. It's terrible. Milbo laughed again, but with a smile, he stopped, and his expression gradually became cold. Fortunately, I am cautious in my life, and I will never do anything without absolute certainty. Otherwise, I am afraid I would have died in the hands of this monster. According to analysis, if you meet with your real body, the mortality rate is 100%. There is absolutely no possibility of survival. Wisdom Brain's electronic voice sounded. The invading monster is terrible, but his power is fascinating. Milbo said, he opened the door to a new world for me and recognized the strength of the real strong. This is good. I will deal with him more cautiously, although I am definitely not his opponent now. But I just need some time. He must be defeated. He can never find me. I should not be against him now. Wisdom. Analyze. In the current situation, how long will it take me to defeat this monster? Milbo asked. Dear qualified person, you must enter the 14th stage to defeat your opponent. For this, you need 108 years, 258 days, and 21 o'clock. But if the opponent destroys the world of Dora's tomb recklessly, destroys all puppets and players, then your growth will be stranded without limit. You will never be able to go further. What? Destroy all puppets and slaughter players? Can he really do this? Milbo was shocked. According to the current strength comparison, the opponent is fully capable. The breath attacking the opponent just now does not seem to consume much energy, and the energy consumed is recovering at an extremely fast speed. It only takes 54 minutes and 39 seconds to fully recover. And based on the current opponent's energy, the opponent can perform the same attack 26 times in a row. Based on this calculation, he only needs about 14 hours and 35 minutes to destroy the entire world of Dora's tomb, 1.3 billion puppets, and nearly 100 million players. If a qualified person uses faith points to resurrect them all, it will cost 11098410 faith points. Part 2. Expenses will far exceed income. Just repeat this 10 or more times, and your belief points will be exhausted. The strength will stay at tier 11 forever. never make progress. Strength never advances? Milbo was shocked. It absolutely can't be like this. I just saw the strength of a truly powerful person, and I yearned for this kind of divine power. How could Milbo accept this result? I saw him gritted his teeth anxiously. Wisdom. Think of a way. You are a product of the true God. There must be a way to deal with this giant dragon, right? What can we do to prevent this from happening? Tell me. I definitely want to keep getting stronger. My progress will never stop because of anything. No way. Please don't worry about those who are qualified. The Great of Creation has already expected this kind of thing to happen. Therefore, as long as the qualified ones activate the closed mode, the power of the world will take the intruder on its own. Repel the world. There is actually such a good way? Then why don't you use it earlier? There is no need for me to take the 25 strongest puppets to death. There are more than 2 million players. It would cost me hundreds of thousands of faith points just to resurrect them? Milbo was surprised and angry again. Dear qualified person, this is the final measure. After adopting the closed mode, no existence above tier 10 will be able to enter the world of Dora's tomb. You are the same as an intruder. Unless you cancel the closed mode again, please note that this mode is the power of the planet Dora's tomb and can only be opened once in hundreds of years. Do not open or close at will. And during the shutdown period, you will not be able to use any functions of this system, and all developments in the world of Dora's tomb will be out of control. Leave my control? How can this be? Milbo's head was a little big. Those players without my control, they will absolutely be lawless. They will destroy the world. I know them well. Yes, very clear. After all, I was one of them before. They will try their best to maximize their benefits. They don't care about the lives of puppets at all. The world will be messy. As long as I don't show up for a long time, every one of them will say swear words about me. Every day as long as the unsatisfactory lives, I will greet my family. This is human. This is the essence of the player. I know it best. Wisdom. Tell me other ways. Dear qualified person, apart from that, all methods are based on your beliefs. To permanently reject the current invaders, you need to spend about 320 million belief points. Unfortunately, you do not have so many points of faith. What else? There must be other ways. Right? Milbo asked anxiously. I'm sorry, but there is no other way. Damn it. Milbo swore fiercely. He hadn't been so angry for a long time. Since this invader entered his world, he has been more angry than in the previous 30 years. Eligible people don't need to worry. According to all the behaviors and language of the intruder from the moment of appearance to the present, the probability of unrestrained destruction of the entire world is less than 5%. What if he happens to be the 5%? Milbo said with a headache. Then the qualified person is asked to make the final decision, whether to see the world of Dora's tomb being destroyed, or to rush out to take a suicide attack, or to adopt the closed mode. The cold electronic tone said without any emotion. Heh, Milbo laughed at himself. I didn't expect that as a god. I would actually have to look at the mood of this invader to continue to develop. According to the original plan, it would take me 108 years to reach tier 14 and defeat the opponent. Wisdom Brain. According to your calculation, is there any stronger strength the other party has not shown? Insufficient data, unable to calculate. You stupid thing. There is insufficient data every time. If it weren't for my cautious nature, I would have been scammed by you. I will continue to wait patiently. 108 years is not enough. As long as conditions permit, I will wait 300 years. 400 years. Use absolute strength to crush this invader. Now only expect your calculation to be correct. Wisdom. Eliminate everything from the intruder. Never post any information and tasks related to the other party again. Just treat it as if he doesn't exist. There is no way. Yes. Milbaum looked at Shillong silently, and in the end the dragon seemed to be exactly as Wisdom guessed. There was no strong desire for destruction at all, and even the surviving players ignored them and flew away alone. Brother How in the real world. When he saw the assembly of 25 tier 10, he thought he could see a big battle. Unexpectedly, I didn't see anything at all in the end, and the screen went black. Fuck. What's this? Brother How cursed and didn't continue to wait. He directly chose other websites and wanted to continue watching, but without a single list, all the websites were playing black screens. There was a curse on the barrage. After changing a few in a row, they were all the same. How Gu guessed that they might all be the same. But it doesn't matter. The broadcast of the bard is also recorded. He found this video, and the progress was pulled to the end to watch. The 25 ranked 10 powerhouses are slightly scattered, seeming to want to surround the dragon in the blizzard forest from all directions. In the last 2 seconds, Brother How clicked on the slow play function of the video, wanting to see the truth. He hits twice, 1/4 speed, 1/8 speed. 2 seconds passed, and I still didn't see anything. Carry on. 1/16 speed, 1/32 speed. Still didn't see anything. 1/64 speed. Ding dong dear user, you are not a member user of this video site yet. You cannot use this feature temporarily. Fuck, there are no members? Brother How was taken aback, a little annoyed, and quickly recharged the 100-year membership, asking you to remind me of the expiration next time, 1/64th speed, 1/128 speed, until it is adjusted to 1/128 speed. In the shooting screen from top to bottom, something strange appeared. A red golden ball of light appeared from the outside of the screen almost in the blink of an eye, blasting straight towards the sage flying in the sky. However, Foshing didn't seem to make any timely response and was directly hit by the golden ball of light. Then a ray of white light bloomed from the golden ball of light, and the entire screen went black again. He also wants the video to continue to slow down, but this time the video website has no such function. He read the comments below, all of which were a bunch of doubtful questions. They still didn't understand much. Some people rioted below, wanting to watch the follow-up. But one of the messages was seen by Brother How. The sky is blue and the sun is shining. What made the assembled 25 tier 10 powerhouses disappear collectively? What made the dedicated Bard live broadcast violently? Is everyone in Stormwind safe? Has the dragon in the forest been beheaded? Want to know the truth about everything? Hurry up and click on the link XXXXX. Here is what you want to know. With the attitude of giving it a try, Brother How clicked in, and he found that the video was recorded very far away. At the very least, it was shot several kilometers away, and the various characters below are blurred. The video is specially made and is 100 times slower from the beginning. A red circle encircled the scarlet golden light ball that was almost invisible, and as the scarlet golden light ball moved, the picture gradually enlarged. The scarlet golden light group slammed straight into the body of the sage, and at this point, he actually gave a close-up of the face of the sage. That was an expression of horror. Despair and panic are all different. Then, ding dong dear users, this video is a paid content. If you want to watch it, please recharge 10 affiliate coins. We will unlock the video content for you immediately. Brother How was furious. Ouch. There was another sharp pain in his head, which made him scream. Brother How, you calm down. Xiaoli stood behind Brother How, with a pair of small hands giving Brother How a brain massage. Part 3. Damn video site. You know money, money, money. It's so vulgar. Brother How scolded. Damn it. If you dare to lie to me, I must send them a lawyer's letter. Sue them to bankruptcy? After scolding, Brother How quickly recharged and continued watching. After seeing the golden ball of light hit F.A. Sage, Brother How saw F.A. Sage screaming. But the next moment, F.A. Sage was overwhelmed by the white light that broke through the golden light ball. Zoom out. When the white light broke out, the sky and the earth changed color. Because it was too bright, the other colors seemed to lose their colors in front of them. The huge ball of light instantly flooded the ground with a large group of black humans like ants. Then a flamestorm spread in all directions. The black ants on the ground seemed to want to escape, but couldn't escape at all. They were quickly caught up by the impact of this flame, and then the black spots were eliminated. Watched for a few seconds. The flamestorm was already near the screen. The whole video is shaking. Brothers, everything is here. I should be on the road too. Don't read it. A voice prompted a voice. This was added later, based on the red golden ball of light at that time to the explosion calculation. At this time, it was less than 2 or 3 seconds. Where can they talk? Then the screen went black. It seems obvious. Is this an attack? But what kind of attack is it? There is such a terrifying power? Are they all killed by spikes several kilometers apart? Brother How went to find some information. Soon I found some posts from players who were hit at the time. I wrote a lot in one of them. So Brother How got a little bit of the situation. I also know who this terrifying attack came from. Grass. You can't believe it at all. What have I experienced? A second ago, I also received the blessing of the all-knowing Almighty God, beside His Majesty Jean Emperor. When I was about to kill the big boss Silin Soderberg with 25 10th level bosses, I died directly. I don't even know what happened. It was resurrected directly in the city's resurrection center at that time. I was holding back a headache, trying to figure out what was going on. Open the damage panel recorded by the system. Hold the grass. Guess what I saw? Dear player, Great Eagle Man, you have been attacked by Shillong Soderberg and suffered 59648,798 damage. Nima, you read that right? I suffered 59 million injuries. I can go to your mother. What kind of hurt is this? What is the system bug? More than 59 million injuries? Do you think I'm stupid? A tier 10 boss has more than 1 million lives at most. You tell me I was injured by 5,900? How is this Nima calculated? Not that much. The most outrageous thing is that I was resurrected naked. Nothing. The perfect equipment that I finally acquired before. All gone. The system reminded me that the equipment was burned by a super flame, and the durability was lost 150,000. I go. My perfect equipment, none of them lasts more than 2,000. You told me that I lost 150,000? Your uncle. Duan Tianhao's legendary staff is only 20,000 durable, right? This does not give a chance to repair. Direct equipment is forced to disappear. Nothing. At that time, the pastor in the city directly regarded me as a pervert and wanted to send me to prison, but immediately, there was another group of perverts like me. Then the priest was dumbfounded. I was released. I was about to go offline. Then I found out that I was dead again. That's right. Was involved in a tornado and flame coexisting storm. You can't imagine WuxiaWorld.online, who died twice in a row, what kind of pain I will endure when I write this article. It's like a person inserting a finger into the forehead, constantly stirring. It really hurts. I feel like I am going to die soon. All right, I'm going to rest now. Until here, the article is over. Brother Hao felt inexplicably refreshed after reading it. A bunch of dog things. Kill me? Is the equipment all gone? At the same time, he was a little grateful. Fortunately, he died early. Otherwise, Duan Tianhao might be one of the hapless ones whose equipment all exploded. Shillong Soderbergh. Horrible. Do you like this site? Donate here. Chapter 283. The damage of a skill is close to 60 million. 13th Order of Strength. What a terrible boss. All previous bosses are compared to him. It's no wonder that you can reward legendary items at will. Okay, next time you encounter it, you must scrape some mythical items on him. Hiss, my head hurts. Do not care. Rest first. After turning off the computer, Brother Hao returned to his luxurious bed, ready to rest for a while. Just when Brother Hao was waiting for Xiaoli, lying on the bed under the quilt, closing his eyes and preparing to rest, a soft body went directly into the bed. Brother Hao opened his eyes and saw that it was Xiaoli. The woman smiled aside, holding Brother Hao's arm, and was about to sleep together. Brother Hao frowned and quickly drove Xiaoli away. At this time, he was suffering from a headache, but he didn't want a strange noise to wake him up when he fell asleep. 2 days later, Brother Hao finally woke up. He was refreshed, but he was a little hungry. Asked his own chef to make a nutritious breakfast. After eating, Brother Hao went online in a hurry. Just launched. It was resurrected in a small city temple called Bingyu City. It is worth mentioning here that the people who were killed by Shillong were basically resurrected by the all-knowing Almighty God, but Blizzard City has not recovered. So Brother Hao, who died before, was randomly resurrected in nearby towns. Groups of pastors were reading the all-knowing Bible, which was as good as the temple Hao had in mind, but slightly smaller than Blizzard City. In the center of the temple, a strange guy was tied to a silver cross. This guy has no hair and has many sharp horns on his scalp. It looks disgusting. A group of pastors gathered around him, reading the all-knowing Bible. There are also a few players pointing and talking. What race is this? I don't seem to have seen it before. Brother Hao curiously lost a detection spell, but the result was told by the system that the player was undetectable. This aroused Hao Ji's interest. He walked over and looked at the player who was tied to the cross. I saw a painful expression on his face. Friend, what's the situation with you? How did you change race? You were still tied to a cross. Brother Hao asked with a friendly face. The player glanced at Brother Hao, feeling a little familiar. So he looked at it carefully, and then surprised, are you the first mage, Duan Tianhao? Haha, if there is no second one, it should be me. Brother Hao smiled. Good meeting. Good meeting. The hanging player smiled bitterly. What's your situation? Brother Hao asked. He is demonized. The player who watched the excitement laughed. Demonized? Demonized like the monster in the previous Blizzard City siege? Become a servant of Shillong Soderbergh? Hao Gu asked in surprise. Yeah, what a shame. As soon as I returned to the city, I was caught here by these crazy priests, saying that they were going to purify me. It was for more than an hour. I really can't stand it. My hands and feet are numb. The demonized player smiled bitterly. Dear Destiny, don't get too close to the demonized creatures, maybe bad things will happen. The pastor on one side reminded, we are guided by the all-knowing Almighty God. It is necessary to eliminate the evil power parasitic on Destiny. Then you guys should get rid of this state. Don't hang me all the time, the player complained. We are already praying for you to the great omnipotent God. It will not take long before he will restore you to normal. Please be patient. The priest said, so? I'm hanging. So boring. Don't you allow me to talk to others? Is there any king? Do you still have humanity? The demonized player cursed. Brother Hao watched for a while and ignored these priests. He continued to ask, what did that dragon called Shillong Soderbergh do to you? Why on earth are you demonized? This demonization, what special attribute bonus does it offer you? Brother Hao was very curious and asked a lot of questions in one go. He can see the strength of the demonized creature before. Does this player possess that power after being demonized? If so, he will be very interested. After all, in his eyes, power has no right or wrong. Shillong Soderbergh? I never met him. I didn't even go to the event at the time. Passing by this small town, I was surprised to see the pure white light in the distance. Later I learned that the dragon did it. Later, somehow, my condition was not very good. Then I was demonized. No clue. However, the state of demonization is actually quite good. It adds 20% of the magic power to me. Although the power and speed are reduced by about 5%, I feel that I am stronger. The most important thing is that I am still being demonized, and I might become stronger later. I actually feel pretty good. The demonized player replied honestly. Finally, he showed a look of regret. Honestly, if he hadn't been caught, he really wanted to see what would happen if he continued. Dear Destiny, this is an evil force, and it is not worthy of your nostalgia. If you continue to let this force develop, your mind will surely be damaged. When the priest heard the player's words, he was a little dissatisfied. These destined ones are really unconscious. You are heroes who want to save the world. How can one be obsessed with the power of evil? Soon, the player quarreled with the priest again. Brother Hao watched for a while, then shook his head and left. He is going to a training ground to practice his skills. At this time, Oge, who was the team leader, sent a message asking the 5 main members of the team to gather. The location is inside a residential house in the outer city, and everyone is required to be low-key when they come. It's quite mysterious. Brother Hao didn't drop the chain either, and summoned the Tianma to fly quickly from the sky, and when he was about to approach, he changed his clothes. This is a very simple dwelling, near the slums. After he knocked on the door and entered, he found that he had reached 3, and he would have 4 together. Among them sat Aogu, Shaoli, and a man with a cloak covering his appearance. Brother Hao chose a position and sat down directly. What is your situation? Wait first. When Momo comes, I will say it together. Aogu motioned to be quiet. A group of people waited for the meeting again. There was a knock on the door, and Oge went to open the door. It was Imo, who glanced at the people in the room somewhat wretchedly and said with a smile, Brother Ao, what are you summoning everyone? Are you planning to attack the secret realm or the boss? Alas, as you all know, my equipment was scrapped in the white light in the last boss siege. Please bear with me if the output is not strong. I didn't call everyone here for this. Aogu said. He put Momola into the house, closed the door and locked it back. Then let him sit down. Oge himself walked behind the cloaked man and said, Do you know who this is? Brother Monkey? 5 of us are the main team members. Momo guessed. Yes. Then do you know why he still wears a cloak in front of us? Pretending to be cool? Momo scratched his head. Is Monkey who likes to be cool? Oge asked back. No. He is a stingy, wretched man. Who is the wretched man? You bastard. The man in the cloak said. His voice is indeed Brother Monkey. Brother Monkey, what are you doing? We are all brothers. Isn't it weird to cover up? Imo laughed. Or, have you gotten angry with Brother Monkey recently? Is your face covered with pimples? It has become too ugly to see people? It's really angry. It's not a normal fire. Brother Monkey said, and opened his cape, showed his face. This face is no longer the face in the image of Imo and Brother Hao. The whole face is not white, but blue. The facial features are also deformed. The ratio of eyes to nose becomes prominent on the face. In the big nostrils, I was breathing slowly. What is inhaled is air, but what is exhaled is cold air. His eyes are also ice blue. Are you demonized? Imo was slightly surprised. Hey, that's right. Isn't it cool? Part 2. Brother Monkey laughed because of his big eyes and big nose, which was a little funny. What's so cool? That's weird, right? No wonder it felt a little cold as soon as I came in and thought it was a season change. It turned out to be because of you. No way. Why don't you go to Kwanzijia and let the priest inside help you expel demonization? Wouldn't it be uncomfortable to keep holding this face? Cut. You bastard. Don't understand the beauty of demonization at all. I told Aogu to let you come together, just to tell you about demonization. Brother Monkey smiled contentedly. Both eyes kept staring at Brother Hao. I know Brother Hao cares most about things that can improve his strength. Now I will share him with Brother Hao and everyone. Does demonization increase strength? Brother Hao understood what Brother Monkey meant. This guy is most greedy for money. But who is Duan Tianhao? The world-class tyrant with only money left. What is needed is that you are in line with money. Whether you want to be my friend or my licking dog, as long as it works for me, I will accept it. Brother Monkey, just tell me, as long as the news is really good, I won't be stingy with money. Brother Hao smiled. Hey, then I will make a long story short. Brother Monkey said with a happy expression. After these 2 days, everyone should have a certain understanding of demonization. There are not many people who are demonized. Compared with the players of the entire game, they are even a drop in the bucket. But no one knows how many. There are only 300 to 400 people exposed now. These people will either die directly and the demonization can be eliminated, or they can ask the priest of all knowledge to spend a few hours to eliminate them, whether they are willing or forced. All I can say is that they are too bad. Having said that, Brother Monkey shook his head with regret. Brother Monkey, don't say these useless. How about a long story short? Emo was impatient. Demonization can increase strength. You should know this? Brother Monkey did not continue to talk with Momo. Well, I heard that they will modify their attributes, adding and subtracting them, and some will gain some weird abilities, but they don't seem to be very good. There has not been a significant increase yet. Aoga said. It's not too obvious, that's for sure. After all, our demonization has just begun. Those exposed people have not been demonized for a long time, and they have been captured and purified one by one. How can they be powerful? Brother smiled. What do you mean? This is the third day. The third day of demonization. The strength, stamina, and agility of my attributes have all decreased, but I have an extra alien energy. Death Ice. He can resist damage for me and increase output. Overall, my strength is definitely better than before. Look. Brother Monkey was talking and stretched out his palm. He had been hidden in the cloak before, and no one could see it. Until this time, everyone discovered that the color of his palm had also changed to ice blue. He stretched out a finger, and a dark blue energy slowly gathered on the fingertip, spinning like a whirlpool. Brother Monkey tapped on the wooden tabletop. Although this desktop looks a bit old, there is no doubt that the quality is good. I saw my fingertips point on it. The dark blue energy penetrated into the wooden table. The wooden tabletop with a radius of 5 centimeters, centered on the fingertip, gradually darkened and turned blue. It wasn't until 7 or 8 seconds later that this small piece of wooden tabletop completely changed to another material. Brother Monkey tapped his fingers lightly on it. Da-da with a snap. That small piece of material resembling the dark blue crystal of the tabletop broke directly, turning into tiny fragments and falling to the ground. There is a big hole in the tabletop. It's very interesting. This can be regarded as giving you a warrior the ability of an ice mage. Emo smiled. But you, a fighter, don't seem to have much effect with this ability, right? Your power is reduced. Didn't I say it before? It's more than that. Brother Monkey smiled, and then he extended his other hand. This hand was different from the previous one. It was not blue, but it was completely unenchanted, holding a big sword in his hand. This is an excellent high-level weapon, Monkey Brother's saber. Hey, Brother Monkey, why do you have a white hand and a blue hand? Momo asked. Isn't this still being demonized? Except for my head WuxieWorld.online. Only my left hand is demonized on the upper body. Brother Monkey said, putting the big sword on the wooden table. Momo, use this sword pierced my neck. Huh. Emo was taken aback and then warned, what is this? We don't have a priest here. I won't give you healing medicine later. Take drugs yourself. Momo thinks a lot. Brother Monkey is so stupid. Usually the team is reluctant to take drugs at all, and it is usually done by Brother How. Why do you want to drop this? Rub me? How can I let you go for nothing? Who wants your recovery medicine? Stabbing me. Quick. Stabbing me. Brother Monkey urged. When Xiaoli on one side heard this, he gave Brother Monkey a strange look. Why do you like being stabbed by a man? Chapter 284. Brother Monkey. You asked for it yourself. This is the first time I heard such a strange request like you. Emo muttered. Just picked up the big sword. Although he is a warlock, he is a 6th-tier warlock. His power is still much greater than that of ordinary people. Although Brother Monkey's weapon is not light, it is at least about 200 caddies. But Emo tried hard with both hands and lifted it up. Brother Monkey. Here comes. Momo reminded again. Quick. Drink. Emo gave a soft drink, and the tip of the sword pierced the Monkey Brother's neck. Everyone at the wooden table stared at the tip of the sword. The point of the sword stabbed at Brother Monkey's neck, but it didn't penetrate as everyone expected. Was blocked by a layer of dark blue ice. A small value floats -3 above the opponent's head. Let me go. What is this? This weakness attack, how can I hit 3 lives? Momo looked at the damage value on the monkey's head a little dazed. You need to know where your neck is weak. If there is no protection, the 6th Order Strong will be stabbed to death by ordinary people of the 1st Order. Although Momo controlled the strength, the stabbing of this sword was enough to damage Brother Monkey. But it turned out to be the opposite. Brother Monkey was not hurt at all. It's like cutting on armor. Didn't lose much blood at all. Brother Hao's eyes are also a bit strange. Does the dark blue energy concentrate on the neck, hardening the neck? The strength seems to be high enough to be compared with when wearing armor. If I have this ability, then I have combined spells with the capabilities of a flesh warrior? Even if it is a 7th level beginner, is it enough to challenge 7th level advanced professionals? Hey, Brother Monkey smiled triumphantly. So demonization is awesome. This demonization is definitely strong and weak, and mine is definitely in the strong category. What about your body in reality? Are there any signs of this? Brother Hao asked. That's not true. Is it possible only in the game? This is not bad. As long as the game becomes stronger, it will be easier to become stronger in reality. This is the truth. So, how to demonize, you know? Brother Hao looked at Brother Monkey with blinking eyes. After 3 days of careful research, I found that most of these demonized people were players near the destruction impact at the time. Even many nearby NPCs have this kind of demonized symptoms. After this happened, I found myself very fond of going to the destroyed Blizzard City. There is a breath that fascinates the demonized me. The monkey god said mysteriously. While talking, Brother Monkey suddenly beamed his eyes and continued. You all know the power of demonized creatures before, right? I feel that I will become that strong soon. Don't you envy it? Huh. Brother Hao raised his eyebrows. Can he really become a rank 10 powerhouse? Is this possible? Suddenly his heart throbbed. Brother Monkey, do you think too much? We are players. We are not bosses. How can we be as strong as those monsters? Momo smiled and shook his head. It's so strange that you are rare. Brother Monkey cursed, not wanting to talk to this fool. Turned his head to face Brother Hao. Brother Hao, how about? Are you interested in demonization? I have a way to demonize you. Demonized. Brother Hao showed a thoughtful look. After being demonized, he can no longer walk around in an open manner. However, as long as the game character dies once, or goes to the Temple of All-Knowing, it can still be recovered. Brother Hao thinks he can give it a try. It's interesting, let me know. I'll transfer it to you later. 1 million Union currency? Shouldn't it be a problem? Hey, Brother Hao is still that Brother Hao. I will always be your most loyal brother. Brother Monkey gave a thumbs up to Brother Hao, boasting, then sent a private message to Brother Hao. After Brother Hao finished reading, he was a little surprised. It's that simple? Yes, it's that simple. Brother Monkey was sure. Okay, is there anything else? If not, I will leave first. Hao asked. It's gone. That's it. Yeah. Brother Hao nodded, and then left. There are only 4 people left in the room. Momo asked, Brother Monkey, you are not on the road. Why do you only tell Brother Hao? He is my uncle. Of course I told him. You guys want to know? I don't want more 100,000. I will tell you as long as 100,000. Brother Monkey crossed the fingers of both hands and compared to 10. Oh, Monkey brother, you can't only have money in your eyes. How many brothers use this? Am I still not your little baby? Mo said with a bit of resentment. You are what I did. You baby? Brother Monkey disdain. You stingy. It's only 100,000. Isn't it a big deal to you? I have earned at least 30 to 40 million in the hands of Brother Hao over the years, right? How can you drop 100,000? Damn, you old man. Dare to scold me for being stingy. Momo aired. I don't want to be demonized. Demonized and become so ugly. My girlfriends in the game will not want me. You should play slowly by yourself. Momo left after speaking. Where is Aogu? Brother Monkey stared at Aogu scorchingly. This guy is also a wealthy owner, and he still has several hundred million in his family. It's just a comparison with Brother Hao. Is also a potential user. Brother Monkey saw that his eyes were naturally different from Mo. Me. Let's see the situation first. Oge didn't immediately agree. Where is Xiaoli? Brother Monkey said again. Let's take a look at the situation. Xiaoli is actually not interested in this kind of demonization. Too ugly. The face of Brother Monkey now has ugly skin. Imbalanced. Want me to be the same as you? Then I will be kicked when I climb Brother Hao's bed? It's better to die. It's a pity. Brother Monkey sighed. Then everyone parted. Brother Hao put on his cloak and walked 100 kilometers away alone. He rode a Pegasus, and it took him a long time to arrive at his destination, which was the sky shrouded in thick black fog. Although 3 days have passed, the black fog in the sky has not dissipated too much. It's dark and heavy, making people feel heavy. After entering the dark fog area, Brother Hao discovered the anomaly. Both himself and the Tianma under him were losing their lives. It dropped very slowly. It took a few seconds to lose 1 point of life. Brother Hao can ignore it for the time being. He put away the Pegasus and landed on the ground alone. There is no weed in the land here. There is an uncomfortable breath in the space. Here, Brother Hao's state has become weak, and his physical attributes have also been reduced by 30%. He continued to walk towards the target. Soon came to a huge pothole. This was caused by the first burst of the red golden ball of light expelled by Silin Soderberg. It looks very shocking. The pit is very huge, at least 7 or 8 kilometers in diameter, and the deepest place is definitely 70 or 80 meters. Brother Hao found that several players were curiously wandering in the pothole, often squat down and touch the ground with his hands. They seem to be in poor condition. But these people know the secret of demonization? Or did you visit it purely because of curiosity? Brother Hao jumped into the pothole. Continue to walk towards the center. The ground is hard. Large pieces of glassy residue appeared after being baked at high temperature. Regarding the appearance of Brother Hao, the one who was there before did not pay much attention. Brother Hao also looked around here and felt curious. After 10 minutes, he took a bottle of blood medicine from the space equipment and drank it. His life has been falling here. Attributes have been reduced by 70%. The previous players who seemed to be visiting had already left several people, but there was also one like Brother Hao, who was wearing a cloak. The state is also extremely bad, but he just doesn't leave, lying on the ground drinking blood medicine. Part 2. This guy definitely knows the secret of demonization. Brother Hao stayed for another 10 minutes. Another person left. Maybe the medicine is gone? Brother Hao thought, the medicines for this game are not cheap. Cheap ones are all highly resistant to drugs. The blood can't be recovered after drinking a few vials in a day. And Brother Hao naturally wouldn't buy this. And the medicine he bought wouldn't bring much resistance. Can definitely drink 100 bottles in a day. Is also because of this, he has been here for a long time, at least most of the day until night. He was just about to leave. He also met a lot of players from other cities who came to visit, but he basically didn't meet anyone with the same purpose as him. Brother Hao, who left the pothole, was in a small town and rented a house casually. He is not going to participate in any activity tasks or the like. Every day in the game is to look at the spellbook. Non-game time is to look at forums and find those magical posts. Regarding demonization, there are mixed reviews on the forum, but most women are basically contemptuous. No woman who loves beauty can accept the appearance of herself when she becomes ugly. As for men, there are naturally many people who are very interested in demonization, and some hid them without being exposed to the followers and guards of the omniscience. Observe their own state every day. Also shared to the forum. Is online the next day. The first thing Brother Hao did was to open the property bar. Status has become demonized. Then he stripped off his clothes and checked the changes in front of the full-length mirror he had prepared before. There is no change in body, but only the left eye has changed. His eyes became red, like a burning flame. Brother Hao also found that his left eye vision had changed slightly, and everything he saw became clearer. Is like putting a low-level, far-sighted technique on my left eye. Sure enough, something has changed. Hope not to let me down. Brother Hao said to himself. He hopes that his role in the game is as strong as possible. It doesn't matter how ugly he is. I always convince people with money and strength. When did you rely on appearance? The next few days, Brother Hao has been paying attention to his changes. The left eyeball became redder. Seems to be bleeding. Brother Hao can clearly feel it. There are some flame elements around him converging in his eyes. His lips also became blood red. Opened his mouth, and the teeth that were originally white as porcelain teeth became like teeth made of rubies. Brother Hao couldn't help laughing when he saw this. He even couldn't help but think, would you like to pull out a tooth later? Try to sell it? What is this? Demonization can demonize something that fits Lao Tzu's characteristics? Knew it. Lao Tzu has a destiny with money in this life. And all the attributes are starting to increase. A few days later, Brother Hao's other right eye became almond-shaped, extremely dark, as if it could incorporate all the light into it. He has acquired a poisonous ability. The gas he exhales is poisonous. Fortunately, it was not too strong, and the surrounding residents and creatures were not affected. Because of the increase in attributes, the original wooden seat was collapsed by him. Ordinary people may be very strange, but he is not a big guy. Is 1.8 meters tall. His body can only be said to be healthy, weighing about 150 kilograms. How can he break the seat? This is all because of the increase in attributes such as strength, physique, and agility. The increase in these attributes will increase the density of bones and muscles. Some people look tall and have the same size as Brother Hao, but if it is a fighter player, then his weight will heavier a lot. May have 170 gene, 200 gene, or 250 gene. Even 300 caddies is possible. And now, Brother Hao is the same. Soon, his condition stabilized and his body seemed to be much stronger. What is this? Variation in the direction of the fighter? But I am obviously a mage. Do you want to rebuild your career? It's wrong. I can double repair. Okay, double repair. No problem. With my financial strength, there is no problem with double repair. Brother Hao is very sure. Another day later, Brother Hao continued to browse the posts that he had been speaking on the forum and sharing the demonization situation. Today's sharing content is more interesting. The original poster said that for some reason, he failed to demonize and turned into a mosaic. After the resurrection, everything went back to before demonization. This makes Brother Hao sound the alarm. He doesn't want to be like each other. It took a few days to fail halfway. Boarded the game. He directly checked his status. Then, he was surprised to find that his status bar indicated that he had entered the state of demonization 1. 2 small 1 centimeter long horns were born on the forehead. Rubbed it with his hands. It was very hard. His attribute panel has completely changed. The attributes have been greatly increased. The rank has not changed, but he found that he seems to have a boss template. Is displayed as 8 skeleton level. Fuck. This variation is worth it. Brother Hao is overjoyed. Level 7. 8 skeleton level boss. With this kind of boss strength, before I didn't have a legendary staff, it was not too difficult to do 6-7 at a time. Brother Hao is very satisfied with this demonization. Doesn't even care about sharing posts that failed in previous forums. Seems to be just a bad luck. At the same time, Brother Hao, based on the analysis of the demonized siege monsters, speculated that there should be second, third, and fourth stages of demonization. So he sent a message to Brother Monkey. Brother Monkey, how is your demonized mutation? It's still the same. It's still mutating. How about you, Brother How? The two of them often communicated the changes of demonization in the days before. Hee hee, just like you. But it feels fast. My strength has also increased a lot. Do you still have a way to demonize too? Demonize, Tier 2. Honestly speaking, it's not there yet, or you can go there and try it. Maybe there are surprises. Okay. Brother How replied, and the succinct dialogue between the two had ended directly. He continued to rush to the previous pothole. The atmosphere there seems to be very good. Every time Brother How thinks about it, there is an urge to go. Came again, and Brother How found that there seemed to be more people here. A group of people wandered outside the pothole. How Gu guessed that these were all sightseeing. The photos on the forum are not good to see, so you must go to the field to see it. Brother How ignored these guys and went straight to the pothole. There are still many people here when they come to the pothole. Everyone is doing their own thing. Brother How found that even here, compared with the first time, he was not affected by any ill effects. Even got an energetic buff, all attributes increased ranging from 1 to 5%. This is really no need to drink medicine. I want to stay as long as I want. Lee, an eagle sounded from the sky. Brother How looked up. At this time, the cloak worn by Brother How is basically completely enclosed. Only 2 eyes are exposed on the hood, and 2 dark lenses are inlaid in the eye area, so I am not afraid of being discovered. Strong? I saw a monster with an eagle-headed human body inflaming its wings and slowly landing above the air. After fell on the ground, the monster didn't care about the people around him, but took a deep breath. Intoxicated color appeared on the eagle's face. What a great taste. I didn't feel it before. I hope I can enter the second stage of demonization sooner. This is great. So cool. Sillon Soderbergh, the great dragon lord. What a great existence you are. At the end, the eagle headman actually looked admired. Brother How heard this. His eyes under his hood condensed, and a detection technique passed. Part 3. But it turns out that the opponent is a player and cannot be detected. This guy, like him, has been demonized for a while. But the brain seems abnormal. Now the demonized creature is wanted by the omniscient and almighty God. As long as they are killed on the spot, the highest level of excellence equipment will be rewarded according to the strength of the magic creature. Is nothing to him, but it is a temptation for ordinary players. This is why Brother How dressed up so tightly. He doesn't want to be harassed endlessly by a group of scum. And the facts are just as how expected. Inside the pit, several wandering players who were wandering around immediately turned their eyes to the eagle head. Magic player. Someone immediately exclaimed, picked up his bow and arrow with his hand, and shot 1 arrow at the eagle head. The arrow turned into a red glow, but when he approached the eagle head, a big hand grasped the arrow tightly. This hand belongs to the eagle head. His sharp eagle eyes stared at the hunter who had just shot the arrow. Looked very fierce in his eyes. Dog stuff. You did it first. As he was talking, the eagle's head turned to the left. The divine light in his eyes flashed, shining forward. A dark figure was directly exposed. Is a thief. Hey, you guys are brain dead. If you want to offer a reward, you have to see if you have that strength. The eagle head said. With the arrow in his hand, his backhand was a flick, and the arrow in his hand was nailed to the thief's throat at a faster speed than before. Looking at the opponent with some incredulous eyes, the eagle head sneered and said, Idiot! It depends on your level 3 strength, and you dare to challenge me, who is now a 7th and 2 skeleton boss. Leap level challenge? No matter how outrageous the story is, I dare not write this way. How dare you do this? Should I admire your bravery? Still admire your stupidity? Woo! The thief whimpered twice and turned into white light and left. The hunter who shot arrows before changed his expression. Level 7 and 2 skeleton level? Are you a player of level 7? He couldn't believe it. Why did a tier 7 player meet him casually? There might not be 1 out of 100,000 players of this level. Is the strongest now. And for the 7th level demonized player, there is no difference between it and winning a lottery when encountering this kind of game? No. It's not a player. It's a boss. Me, Wang Chong. It's no longer an ordinary player. It's a boss. Is a stronger life than you waste. The eagle-headed man who claims to be Wang Chong shouted, his expression full of arrogance. What do you mean? What do you mean by not being a player? The hunter was sweating. It doesn't make sense to tell you this, idiot. I died for lousy. The eagle head shouted again. The huge wings with a full 4-meter wingspan spread out. Through the heart. The feathers on the wings are so dark, like black iron, they stand upright. With the eagle heads yelling. These feathers are like sharp arrows, shooting in all directions. The hunter players who bear the brunt are immediately shot into a hornet's nest by dozens of feather arrows, turning into white light and leaving. The rest of the people who were good at watching the show did not react, and were shot to death in shock. Only Brother Hao, at the moment of his death, raised the staff in his hand. The red light in the left eye and the red gem on the staff flickered at the same time. A disc with a diameter of 2.5 meters appeared in front of him instantly. Feather arrows shot on the flame plate, like ice flakes shot into hot water. The sound kept coming out, until the sound disappeared. The flame of the millstone turned into thousands of tiny flames, floating in the air. Brother Hao waved his hand, thinking about making these flames fight back. The eagle head on the other side shouted, "Wait, brother, don't do it." Huh. Haogu paused. My own brother. You are also a demonized person, right? If yes, you are your own. I am not interested in ordinary players, but for those who are also demonized, Yu reading www.yuyukiangsha.com are all brothers. Brother Hao looked at the opponent's eagle face. His emotions were very obvious, and he could see the softness on his face wrapped in feathers, especially the eyes, faintly kind. Brother Hao also noticed that the jet black feathers that were shot by him had already recovered more than half, one by one growing at a speed visible to the naked eye. This guy has some strength. Waved away the flames in front of him. Brother Hao judged, the person in front of you can talk. Brother, are you a member of the organization? Eaglehead asked. Organization? What organization? A specially established demonized organization. It's obviously not meant by brother. How about, are you interested in joining? You can resist my arrow feathers. I think you are not weak. Nonsense. Lao Tzu is the first mage. The first player now. Humph. Idiot. How can you understand Laozi's awesomeness? Do you have a demonized Tier 2 organization? Brother Hao asked rhetorically, without answering the other party's question. Chapter 285. Yes, the second-order demonization is much stronger than the first-order demonization, and the demonization is also much faster. In this pit, wait for a long time, and you will know the result. Whether to continue to advance or fail, it all depends on the will of the Demon Dragon King. The Eaglehead didn't mean to hide, he said directly. Mobile phone https://failure. At this point, will it fail? Of course. What will happen? It's not going to be great. Once the demonized state can be retained, even if you continue to come over and want to be demonized, the ending will not change at all. There is simply no potential. I hope we will not stop here. I want to continue to advance, become a real powerhouse. Then in your organization, are there any demonized Tier 3 and Tier 4 players? No, the two-stage demonization seems to be the limit. If you want to continue to evolve, people in the organization guess that they can only find His Royal Highness the Demon Dragon King. Let him give strength. However, since the end of the war, His Majesty the Dragon King has disappeared, which is really a headache. The Eaglehead people finally complained. You have said Your Majesty the Dragon King twice in a row? Do you mean the Dragon Silent Soderbergh? Yes. Since seeing Your Majesty's power like a god, everyone has respectfully called him the Demon Dragon King. The eagle body showed worship. That was from the heart, and Brother Hao couldn't understand it. Isn't it an NPC? Although this game is amazing, it can make people stronger. But this demonization does not affect reality. So why do you worship the other party? Oh, is that so? Brother Hao put out a lot of information. How? Do you want to join us? I don't have any thoughts on this yet. Forget it. But can you add a friend? Brother Hao was silent, obviously not wanting to reveal his identity. The Eaglehead also saw what Brother Hao meant, and he sighed with regret. Just forget it if you don't want it. I can tell you my ID 953147. You can add me whenever you want to join. Demonize the brothers and family. Okay. Brother Hao nodded. Then the two chatted a little bit about other things. Many players in the middle came again and saw the Eaglehead directly launch an attack and were counterkilled by the Eaglehead on the spot. Some people just glanced at the Eaglehead in surprise. Some stayed where they were. Some turned and left. Time has passed slowly. Brother Hao felt that his body soon had a problem. He felt that his body was on fire, and he was obviously burned by the flame, but he was uncomfortable. The durability of the perfect cloak continued to decline. 36584 After a few minutes, the entire cloak was ignited by flames, turning Hao into a burning man. The crimson flame is particularly conspicuous in the pothole. The Eaglehead Wang Chong, who had been chatting with Brother Hao, was taken aback. He quickly stepped back 10 meters, but there was still a wave of fire rushing towards him. It's hot. It's hot. The Eaglehead cried strangely. He withdrew more than a few meters back again to be better. He looked at Brother Hao and shouted, Brother, are you okay? Are you demonized to the second level? Is the second order demonized? It seems to have indeed arrived. Brother Hao was full of flames, but the left eyeball is especially bright. Opened the property bar and glanced at it. It is indeed the second state of demonization. The strength level has become a 9th and 2 skeleton level. Seeing this, Brother Hao couldn't help laughing directly. The red flames all over his body trembled. His left eye flashed red. The still burning flame rushed to his eyes. The flame quickly disappeared, and Brother Hao revealed his true colors. On the original white face, red scales actually grew. The height is like a young sapling that is uplifted, from 1.8 meters to the point of nearly 2 meters. The arms are stronger than the thighs of ordinary people, covered with red scales. The same goes for the feet. The corners of the forehead have become longer, 3 or 4 centimeters in length. Hair strands are like flames, without wind and spontaneous combustion. Amazing! Brother, you are so demonized. The eagle head exclaimed, his eyes a little light. It's so cool. It's so cooler than me. Like the legendary Dragon Man. Oh, dragon? Brother Hao muttered. Take out a mirror from the space equipment. Observe carefully. The change is indeed great, because the face is covered with scales. I can't recognize the previous appearance at all, especially one red, one black with 2 eyes, red domineering, black weird. Not bad. Brother Hao looked at his current appearance, surprisingly feeling very good. Brother, you are so lucky. It was a direct success. Although the success rate of Demonization 2 is much higher than Demonization 1, there is still a 20% chance of failure. How is it? Brother, what level of strength do you evaluate in the system now? The eagle head asked with envy and curiosity. Level 8 and 2 skeleton level. Brother Hao didn't tell the truth. Not bad. Demonized Tier 2 has such strength. I hope I can be as successful as you, and then it would be nice to have the strength like you. The eagle head was extremely envious. He knows that there are not a few Tier 2 demonized people with this kind of strength in the entire organization. Yes. Brother Hao comforted. I borrow your good words. You said, the 3rd stage of demonization, is it useful to stay here? Hao asked. It's useless. This can only allow us to advance to the 2nd stage at most. If you don't believe it, you can stay here for a while. The eagle head said. After that, Brother Hao stopped here to continue chatting with the eagle head, talking about the topic of demonized creatures. Several more hours passed. The eagle head has finally completed the demonization again. This time all his hands and feet mutated into eagle claws and eagle feet. The epidermis is covered with thick black scales. His power became very strong, and Brother Hao watched him experiment and squashed a piece of steel. According to his personal disclosure, he reached the 8th rank and 1 skeleton rank, barely entering the ranks of the 8th rank. Ying Shaoran was not too disappointed by this, but was very satisfied. After chatting with Brother Hao for a while, he flew away. Brother Hao stayed alone. During the period, I encountered someone who couldn't open his eyes and wanted to attack Brother Hao. As a result, Brother Hao narrowed his left eye slightly. The provocateur was covered with scarlet flames and rolled on the spot. Within 8 seconds, it disappeared. Until the night in the game. This represents the dawn in reality. Brother Hao also got up offline. Supporting the body with hands, slowly climbed up from putting on. The door was opened. Then came a voice. Brother Hao, breakfast is ready. Are you up? This is a sweet voice. It was Xiaoli's voice, Brother Hao could tell. Then Xiaoli appeared in Brother Hao's vision. Still fresh and pleasant as always. Ah, what kind of monster are you? Brother Hao, Xiaoli exclaimed, and immediately turned around to escape. Xiaoli, what are you doing? Today is not April Fool's Day. This is not funny at all. Hao Go shouted with a gloomy face. Huh. Xiaoli's turning motion froze. Yes, it's Brother Hao's voice. She turned around tremblingly, looking at Brother Hao with some horror. You are Duan Tianhao? Brother Hao? Really Brother Hao? What nonsense are you talking about? I'm not Duan Tianhao, but Ri Tianhao. Brother Hao is unhappy. Brother Hao, you. Xiaoli pointed at Brother Hao without knowing what to say. Suddenly his head flashed. Brother Hao, are you playing? Who is this Cos? It's really cool. Huh. Brother Hao is a little confused. Xiaoli, what are you talking about? How could I do that kind of thing? However, he quickly reacted. It should be something wrong with him that caused Xiaoli to be so gaff. Part 2. He jumped off the bed and stood on the ground, summoning a mirror with a wave of his arm. Only then was the problem discovered. He has become the same as the character in the game. The first child has double horns, the left pupil is red, and the right pupil is dark. The face is scaled and the limbs are as strong as dragon's arms. I actually became like this, Brother Hao said to himself. Xiaoli couldn't hear what kind of feelings were bred inside. But I must be sad to come. He was so handsome before, but now he has become this ghost. Brother Hao, sorry. You look like I may leave you. Now this makes her a little bit unable to speak. The races are all different. Brother Hao, your sorrow? Xiaoli whispered. Sorrow? Why do you want to mourn? Hao Go asked back. He felt explosive energy in his body. Every breath made him feel refreshed. You? What you look like, maybe. No longer a human being. Xiaoli hesitated. Human? What is good about being a human? Xiaoli, I have already decided. I will not do it as a human. I am now a dragon, the strongest dragon man who gained the power of the magic dragon. Brother Hao's eyes burst into light. The corners of his mouth opened, and he laughed. Huh. Xiaoli was stunned by Brother Hao's remarks. Xiaoli, you don't understand how strong I am now. I can feel, even if compared with the game, I am not weakened at all. Brother Hao said. Oh. Congratulations to Brother Hao, Brother Hexiho. Xiaoli shrank subconsciously and said, Xiaoli, are you afraid of me? Brother Hao was a little unhappy when he saw it. No. Xiaoli denied. You are obviously afraid. Brother Hao blinked. Thoughts turned. Then the figure flickered and appeared next to her at a speed that Xiaoli could not react at all, closing the door one at a time, and then putting his arms around her shoulders. Ah! Xiaoli exclaimed and wanted to jump away, but Brother Hao held her tightly with one hand. Xiaoli, what are you doing? In normal times, when I hug you like this, you have already fallen in my arms and slapped your hands on me. Now you are so out of touch? Brother Hao's eyes flickered. No. Huh. You don't want to report me, do you? Let the people of the Alliance catch me as a guinea pig? Brother Hao looked cold. How is it possible? Brother Hao, you and I will be married for a day. How could you hope Brother Hao will do these things? Very good. A couple 100 days of grace. Brother Hao repeated these words, immediately copied with a big hand, threw Xiaoli onto the bed, and then rushed over. 1 hour later, Xiaoli was flushed in the arms of Brother Hao. Brother Hao, you are so amazing. Her little hand gently stroked Brother Hao's chest. There were a lot of scales there, and the scales that felt ugly before. This time it was surprisingly sexy. This strong and powerful arm. This and spacious chest. The red and dark pupils. Man. So masculine. Xiaoli was deeply fascinated by this. What kind of nerves did I have before that I thought Hao was not handsome anymore? Look at his open mouth. The teeth inside are like the world's top dark rubies. He still has the personal charm of Brother Hao. Handsome. It's so handsome. Humph. Brother Hao smiled triumphantly. Xiaoli, you really are not an ordinary woman. As long as you follow me well, there will be unexpected surprises waiting for you in the future. Brother Hao comforted a woman. Now he looks more dangerous than in the game, and he can't be exposed to the servants in the house. At this time, you need to leave. Xiaoli, I'm a little hungry. Help me bring my breakfast. Okay. Brother Hao, wait a minute. Xiaoli accepted the task with a happy expression, went downstairs, and brought breakfast. They closed their eyes and entered the game after eating breakfast together. Going back to the game again, Brother Hao actually thought about whether to turn Xiaoli into a demonized person. But when I think of the eagle head before, he gave up. If this woman also becomes an eagle head, how can she be affectionate afterwards? Nima, call me a dignified rank 9 powerhouse. Duan Tianhao should kiss a bird's beak? This is impossible. Then let Xiaoli make the vase. In terms of combat power, there is not one more, and one less than her. Brother Hao spent several hours in the pothole. After discovering that it was really useless, he was a little irritable. To continue to evolve, is it really necessary to find Majesty the Dragon? But recently, it seems that I have not found any news from the other party on the forum. Do you want to offer a reward directly on the forum? No way. In reality, the Alliance should also know the news about the demons. After all, I am not the only demon. I now offer a reward to the Demon Dragon King, and I will definitely be suspected by the Alliance. Brother Hao gritted his teeth and returned to the hut that he had previously hidden. He sat silently on a chair, thinking about ways. Is he going to contact the demonized organization of the Eagle Head? But it's not clear how the organization is. What role will I play in it? Would they be jealous of me being so handsome, so rich, so strong? Come to gang fight me? Brother Hao thought a lot, and became more impatient. Holding the legendary staff in his hand, he kept hitting the ground with the bottom of the staff, making a chopping sound. For a long time, he looked up at the red gem on the top of his legendary staff. 3 drops of sunshine droplets are fused inside. Gudong. Brother Hao swallowed. He found himself somewhat hungry. Want to swallow the gem of the legendary staff. To be precise, they are the 3 sun droplets inside. Why is that? Obviously, it is a treasure refined in perseverance. What does it have to do with demonization? Why would I crave it? This is from the instinct of the body. Brother Hao hesitated, whether to follow his instinct and swallow the gem. In that case, the legendary staff is gone. This is the only one among all players. The equipment promised by the all-knowing Almighty God may be because the mission was not completed and none of them were issued. So the preciousness of this only legendary staff is naturally self-evident. It is not simply a measure of money. Brother Hao thought for a long time, and finally opened his mouth and took a bite at the place where the staff was inlaid with gems. Click, 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 just like chewing glass. Brother Hao directly chewed up the gem with his superb teeth. Those fragments couldn't hurt his mouth at all. After he chewed it up completely, Brother Hao swallowed it. Weapons are just something outside the body. What's more, he is now rank 9 and 2 skeleton rank. The direction seems to be moving towards the soldier. Don't worry about this staff. When chewing gems, Brother Hao's heart shook suddenly. Boom, boom, boom. The sound is clear and loud. Yes, that's how I feel. I'm going to evolve again. Brother Hao showed a look of ecstasy. Next is tier 10. I am about to become a rank 10 powerhouse soon. Whether it is a game or in reality, the heart is beating violently. The gem fragments swallowed into the body quickly decomposed in the stomach pouch. 3 drops of red water are left alone. The water droplets were not decomposed by the gastric juice, but merged against the stomach wall. In the body that Brother Hao couldn't see, his internal organs are all dyed red. Very good. It feels great. Brother Hao smiled. He already felt the body began to change. But this is different from demonization too, and it may still take a lot of time. However, Brother Hao has confirmed that he can continue to be demonized, which is surprisingly in a good mood. He hummed a little tune, raised Erlang's legs and looked at the book he had prepared. Start a boring time. At the same time, Shillong has been staying in a remote forest with his eyes closed recently. Yes, he did nothing. Part 3. In this world of weak Confucianism, there is nothing he wants to obtain, nothing he wants to learn. In that case, why not sleep well? Anyway, he is the kind of race that can become stronger without reason while lying down, and other people can't be envious of it. Maybe if I lie down for thousands of years, I can go back? When the time comes, punch the goddess of magic, kick the Lord of Dawn. Okay, to beat the evil god. Show the light of justice. How long will it take to become a metal dragon idol? Shillong thought so. So he chose a forest that felt good feng shui and fell asleep. However, he was awakened before he fell asleep. Since that time when a nucleus died down in Blizzard City, he found that something seemed to be wrong. Until now, the system has been prompting him to believe in him, worship him inexplicably, and provide him with points of faith. There are many of these people. It's almost like brushing the frequency, but the belief points provided are different. There are more and less. There is no more than 1 point, and no less than 0.1. Nevertheless, his point of faith, to this day, has reached more than 90,000. Although it is far too early to obtain the 20 million seedlings of the Godhead, it is indeed increasing, and it is real. Shillong didn't take this to heart. But suddenly, an unseen system prompt appeared. Dear second qualified person, do you spend 0.4 faith points to resurrect your believers? King Kong Gorilla? What the hell? Ask me the point of faith that I want to resurrect? Xylem was slightly taken aback. What is the second qualified person? The second qualified person is the second qualified person selected based on the poor performance of the first qualified person. I am the intellectual brain of the world of Dora's tomb, and I am assisted by the creator, Dora, to create the mental brain. Nice to meet you, dear second qualified person. The cold electronic voice said. Huh? When did I become the second qualified person? Shillong was a little confused, and then smiled. Am I the protagonist of the destiny? Just sleep, and you come to the door and ask me to be your master? Or the host? Does that mean? It's almost like this. Jinao said, in addition, you are now the second qualified person, and the first qualified person is the omniscient and omnipotent God. The God of all-knowing and almighty? Since he is the first fit, what do you want me to do with the second fit? Does it matter? It's okay. The all-knowing and almighty God is the first qualified person. Just because of luck, at the right time, at the right place, the first qualified person produced by chance, you are different. Although you are the second qualified person, based on data analysis, you are the most suitable host for me, and you are also the creature that can achieve the goal of the creator Dora. Therefore, to trigger the 338th rule of intellectual brain, I listed you as the second qualified person and participated in the competition with the first qualified person. Oh, roar. Xylem laughed. Then you are now a 25, son? Obviously, it is the thing of the omniscient and almighty God, and now he actually gives me the opportunity to his system. D. After analysis, the behavior of the brain is indeed no different from the general 2 or 5. It's interesting. It seems that you are also a smart and intelligent conquered by my ultimate power. Shillong praised, this is a very wise choice. You will be thankful for this. By the way, tell me about the information about the omniscient and almighty God. I am very curious about this guy. Is it just a waste of what I think? Dip. The second qualified person is not qualified to inquire about the first qualified person's news. Refuses to answer. Heh, 25 boys are not good to behave. Shillong was a little bit contemptuous about this Wuxia world. Online, he actually didn't fully believe in the words of this brain. He even suspected that the omniscient and almighty God sent him to do the trick. But it doesn't matter. Lao Tzu lived in the era of big data in his previous life. What scam has not been seen? Of course, there is another possibility. This guy may find a way out for himself, for fear that I will kill the omniscient and almighty God and then destroy its intelligence. Both are possible, but Shillong feels more inclined to the first. That's right. What is your creator Dora that you said before? What do the good creators want to do if they don't follow us? Shillong decided to inquire about the news. The deeds of the creator Dora, I can only tell the first qualified person. As the second qualified person you have no right to know. Shillong smiled. This guy is even more suspicious. So is the second qualified person. What can you bring to me? I can make you qualified to become a god. Become a god? Do you think I will not be a god? Or do you think I can't beat thee in your mouth? Plutonium Dragon Field.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and give this video a like to stay updated on all the latest content. You can find the next videos in the playlist linked in the info card or directly on my channel. Share your suggestions for the next one. Just drop the name of the novel and the website it's on in the comments. I'd love to hear your ideas. If you have any feedback, I'd love to hear it. Feel free to drop a comment.